And so I've told people now, like, don't buy me art supplies. You can give me a gift card and I will buy
Yeah.
what art supplies. Don't even try it. Uh,
Back
you're,
away.
yeah, yeah. I don't know who you think you are walking in here with some art supplies for me, but
It's time for Gavin Doodle.
hi everybody. A sing-songy. Hi everybody. It's Gavin Doodle and I'm Mark Hoffman, your host for the day or evening or morning, depending on where you're coming in at. I have a lovely day here, ready to chat and converse and draw and make with our special guest for the day. We have on today Chris Chatterton. There's a big old... Here, I'll try to get rid of the shine there. Chris Chatterton, who you probably know from the Nico series, but he has the dinosaur series as well. And then we also have I Am Cat here. Super adorable, cute illustrations throughout. Real sort of understanding of shape language, as you can see, especially in the Stompysaurus book here. Sort of understanding the shape and proportion and whatnot, and how that really plays out in the character design is also lovely throughout. Today, my sketch, I'm doing a little soccer referee. Peachtober's coming up, and one of the prompts was whistle, so I decided to make a piece that has a whistle in it. It's not a whistle, it is about a referee that has a whistle, but that's what I'm going to be doing today. I have some colors here that are off to the side that I'll be using. I'll talk about this in a second. Again, I post to YouTube at Studio Hoffman. It's on Instagram at Studio Hoffman, which is probably what you're watching right now. And then you can ask us anything for the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the Ask Us Anything into the comments here. Ask us. You get a view of my work surface just for a second. And I will make sure my live feed is up, and then I'll switch it to my face, which is what everybody wants to see. And so let me put that down here. Pin comment and switch the camera. Why can I not find the camera switch? There it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome. And I put my sketch off to the side, and I didn't mean to. So again, today we have on Chris Chatterton. I believe he's coming in from Barcelona. If I remember correctly. We will find out as we go along. But otherwise, feel free to ask us questions, and I will invite in our special guest. Let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. Chris. Hopefully it works. You gotta keep an eye on it. There we are. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? I was just
I'm,
like really close.
yeah, you don't want to. You doing
No,
okay
nobody
over
wants
there?
that.
I can see in your studio. What's that mess in the corner? So first of all, welcome. I'm so excited to have you on. Big fans of yours in the house here, and we're excited that you agreed to join us today. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Are you in Barcelona right now?
Yeah. Well, I'm
Okay.
just outside,
Okay.
but it's like 40 minutes on the metro system from like the center of Barcelona. So technically, yes.
How long have you been there?
Like 5 years coming up.
5 years. Okay. So you
Yeah.
like right during the pandemic you moved?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a
Yeah, it was a bit
that's
crazy.
a choice. Pack up and move
Yeah.
in the middle of that. Well, we're excited to have you on. As I said, I'm sort of mesmerized by your work, and specifically sort of the shape language that you use and the ability to. I was saying, like, in the ad, I always post some little comment about the work, like what I think about it, and you have this innate ability to take things and just make them like cuter than you think they can be, and
Yeah.
it's all like proportion and shape. Like looking at the Stompysaurus here, the book that I have, like his nostril size is so important
Yeah.
to the character, and like most people wouldn't probably jump to that. Like the nostrils are going to be bigger than the eyeballs, but it makes such a difference in the character.
Yeah. That's
Um,
if you don't do that, it looks like it's got 4 eyeballs. So
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. If they're the same size. Um, so today we're gonna work. We're gonna chat. But what I need from you, for those that are watching from around the globe or tuning in later at a different point is to give us a little synopsis of who you are and what you do.
Okay. I'm a children's book author and illustrator, and I've been doing that pretty much now for like 13 years, I think.
Okay.
And prior to that, I was kind of doing animation and graphic design and advertising. I've been kind of like through everything, but thankfully, kind of always in like a creative field.
Yeah. And it said on your site, I was just going through your site again one last time before we hopped on, about working on Doctor Who
Yeah.
at some point. Was that animation or was that some other sort of film?
Yeah, that was animation. So a lot of the ones from the 60s, there's like some episodes missing
Oh,
in a series. So they basically like they just chucked it out or something, but a lot of audio exists from fans recording the TVs. So we kind of filled in the gaps with animation.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I
we
haven't I
did.
don't seen those. I remember I grew up with the Doctor Who with the big long scarf. I don't remember what his name is, the actor. That was the one that I knew.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm not a big Doctor Who
yeah,
fan
yeah, yeah,
to be honest. So
exactly. I've
we
I've
had
seen it.
the producer on the show. He was like a proper Doctor Who nerd.
Yeah, we have those. We have those at the school I teach at. There's students who are like know every single thing about it. So today we're going to be sketching and making, but my wife is upstairs. She's my lovely producer. We're settling on that term, I think, producer, and she keeps track of what people use for materials as they
Okay.
work, whether it be digital, whether it be you know, analog materials, and sort of documents if there's brands or brush packs or things of that sort that you use. Do you have any sense of what you're going to be using today?
I've just got like a bunch of random pencils I grabbed from kind of back here. I've just got like loads of stuff back there. It's
Right.
basically okay. Just grab a few bits. I don't kind of have anything specific really like that I grab apart from when I'm kind of doing some of the books I do all, like by hand.
Yeah.
I'll use like a charcoal pencil for that. But like not a specific brand or anything. Just I like the texture of it. Um,
When you're doing the digital work, is it, are you Photoshop or are you Procreate? What's the
yeah, Photoshop. Yeah,
Photoshop?
yeah,
Are you a Cintiq person?
yes,
Or
yeah,
yeah, all right.
yeah. I've got my it's like right here. I've got a big Cintiq and then two big monitors above it. So no,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like
gotcha,
like,
gotcha.
like the Enterprise.
It's that there's always this like, and forgive me because I'm not trying to date you or me, but there's this generation gap of like those who started out on Wacom's and then moved to Cintiqs, and then there's this big leap to Procreate, and there's this gap in the middle of like generation wise of like which side of that are you
Yeah,
on? And I I did like when I started out doing professional work, I was using just one of those little tiny Wacom tablets. It was like, you know,
yeah,
little pocket size thing,
yeah.
and now it's the iPad for me, which is not that much bigger to be honest.
Okay,
But those Cintiqs, I see everybody using them. I'm like, oof.
yeah.
They
Bigger the
are,
better.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So today the conversation goes any which way we want it to go. If you decide you want to shift it of any sort, feel free. Also, I want to be respectful of your time. So if at any point you need to jump off, I know it is
Yeah.
later there. I
It's
don't know,
it's kind of like 8 o'clock, so
8
a
o'clock.
couple of hours or so, I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to. My son has a open house thing today because school is back in session, and so at some point I got to swing over there after we're done. So, um, and then the other thing was Wi-Fi internet sometimes can be a little finicky, and so if for some reason something happens, we'll just play it by ear and sort of manage. But
Okay.
why don't we switch to our downshoots and we can just start chatting away and making.
Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to do
Oh, you know what?
that.
Before we do that, do you know what you are drawing today? I forgot to ask that.
I'm just gonna like do random characters. I think it'll
Okay,
probably be end up being some dogs because it always is
it's always
dogs.
dogs. Okay,
But yeah, I just thought just play with some shapes and just kind of see what happens.
okay, cool.
Okay.
So switcheroo, I have a feed here that allows me to see sort of
Okay.
where you're at and where I'm at. It's got a little delay, so bear that in mind.
Okay.
If you try to show me something and go like, look at it fast, that ain't
Okay.
happening.
Okay. I think we're
Um,
on there. Yeah. The
Uh,
light, my lighting is really bad, so there's like a big
yeah,
shadow
no, it's
and
fine.
the
I mean,
wire and everything. So
you're working black and white, so it should be, or with pencil, so it should be relatively okay.
yeah,
Um, so tell me, like, again, we've never met before. I know your work, but I don't know you as a person, and so I would love to hear a little bit of the sort of history, the what happened that made you who you are, and sort of
okay.
how you landed in this
Okay,
situation.
this is going to be like so tricky to kind of to draw and talk.
Yeah, it takes a second to get used to. I will warn you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. So, well, you just kind of want the like my whole life story, or kind of.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want the whole life story, but it was a cold summer day. No, just sort of like obviously you had a penchant for art.
Yeah.
Uh, at some point, that transitioned into a decision that this could be a career or this could be a avenue to go down. Whether that was you know your active choice or just stuff kind of fell into your lap. And I'm wondering sort of your that side of it to
Yeah.
start with.
Yeah. I think it was like it's definitely always been like an active choice. I wanted to be, well, I was kind of like Disney and everything like that, you know. I was kind of I just like I wanted to be an artist, whatever that was.
Yeah,
And I guess just kind of as time went on, I was just drawing all the time, that kind of thing, making my own little comics. And then it was, I don't know if you guys have this in America, but in secondary school, when you're about 13 years old, you have to do work experience, which
hmm.
is like a week, and you go to a place of work and you kind of have that experience basically. Uh, and I had a family friend who was a graphic designer. He had his own company.
Yeah.
It was just him. Uh, so I asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, come along." But it was like I asked him like a couple of months beforehand. She said, like, "Come in one Saturday, and I'll show you around, and kind of we'll see how it goes." And he just kind of offered me a Saturday job from there.
Wait,
And
how
we
old?
were
This was like what, 16, 17, kind of
no, I was 13.
13, and you had a job on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, all right.
Using like Photoshop 1 or whatever it was at the time, I
Yeah.
guess.
You have a
Um,
choice. You can have a circle or a square brush, and that's it. Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty much that. So we were doing like a lot of posters for the local council, and kind of the thing back there was to get photos and do like the photo merge, like
Oh
blend
yeah.
one into
Yep.
the other, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Very of its time. But it was great because it kind of taught me Photoshop, and I kind of, like I said before, like I wanted to be an artist, but I didn't kind of know what to do or kind of how to kind of go about that sort of thing. So the graphic design sort of appealed to me. So I kind of just followed that route. I had the Saturday job with him until I was like 20, maybe something like that.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. You got
Yeah,
you got a pension at the end. You got a.
yeah. And then, but like in between, I went to college after comprehensive school, so like 16 to 18, I did a graphic design course there. And then from there, like in between, I was kind of like getting really into animation. And I was like teaching myself a bit of animation, but then also like Toy Story came out, and I was like, oh, 3D, that's like amazing. I want to kind of look at that. So I was like, I can't remember what I was using at the time, what programs, but I was like playing around with maybe 3D Studio Max or something.
Yeah.
And so then from the graphic design, I went to do another course, another 2 years, but it was like it was just multimedia design. And there was a lot of CD-ROMs and websites, but like all coding, HTML, and a little bit of animation within there. It wasn't great. It wasn't a great course. The one of the teachers was reading like how to use Flashbook when he was
Yeah,
trying to teach when he
for
was trying to
dummies. Yeah.
teach us. So yeah, I think that kind of says it all.
Did so? Did you know? I mean, when you were doing something like the design work early
Yeah.
on, or like even when you were 13, um, did you know that this was sort of um, a career? I mean, obviously you knew it was a career because you had a friend or whoever it was that was teaching you. But did you have some sense that this was like this is it, or was this more of a this is something to do to pass the time or to give you some sort of start? And the reason I ask that in particular is just the idea of like that's such a that is a time in people's lives where there's so much change happening when you're that young,
Yeah.
and you don't really know a lot about sort of who you are, even let alone sort of the direction you want to go in life. Um, was that so like just clear as day for you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Kind of even to this day, I kind of like the graphic design side of picture books.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah, it still kind of excites me doing titles and typography and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it was yeah, it was great at the time. I really enjoyed it, and I went from college to try and pursue that. I got a job in a advertising company in the local city.
It's
Um,
interesting the idea of like graphic design as a starter. There's a lot of people that I've had on here that are a graphic design start, and I'm a big advocate of like knowing type and knowing things that sometimes illustrators gloss over. Not that you
yeah,
have to design your own typeface or anything of the sort for books, but just knowing how it operates, of like how you can best set up your files, and what is the prints, like setting up for print and pre-processing and all that kind of stuff for that, I think makes such a big difference in how you approach a book in my mind. But
yeah.
do they let you with a lot of your work do um, some of that design side, or is that something that you just sort of hand off at this point and
It's kind of like because you get a designer on each book, so it's kind
yeah,
of it's teamwork basically. But I guess some illustrators who don't like that kind of side of stuff will be happy just to pass it over. But I like to kind of work with the designers and just kind of throw things backwards and forwards. And I kind of say, "Oh, do you mind if I have a go at that?" kind of thing. And usually it's kind of like, yeah, they say yes, we'll see
yeah,
what it looks like, that kind of thing.
they're like, you want to do our job for us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna take the weekend then.
Off
Whee!
you go. Yeah.
Yeah. It's there's times like I'm working on a couple of gigs in the background, and I ask for things like galleys or for the type ahead of time, and then I always
Yeah.
feel really uncomfortable like moving the type around on the page. But I'm like, oh, it'd be so much better if it was over here, and whatever it may be. Even though I have years of experience, and even though it's not like I'm a novice at it.
Hmm.
Still, there's some little bit of hesitation
Oh
in
God,
doing
no! I
someone.
just grab that text and I move it. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah. I think if it's going to work in the composition better, like
yeah.
on
Go.
on the right, and it kind of makes sense, then like it's like the designer's going to kind of see that as well, no?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's technically true. I think I just have that personality that I'm like, oh no, I'm stepping on their toes, and they're gonna be angry at me. Um, with with the amount of books that you worked on, especially series, like the amount of series that you've done.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's given you more leeway as a illustrator to sort of make those calls without having to worry of like
Yeah, I
what
think
are they
so.
going to think?
Yeah, for sure. Because like when you're working on a series for like 8 years or something, whatever it is, on some of them, it's kind of like, yeah, you know, and the designer knows kind of like how this is going to work, and
Yeah.
But yeah, that usually that first book is a bit tricky. Sometimes, like, I guess the Worrysaurus, that was trying to kind of find the language of that one. Yeah, that was a little bit tricky.
Well,
A lot of backwards and forwards on that one, but I think it kind of worked out in the end.
let me ask you this, because this is one of those ones where I'm always sort of I've worked on a couple of things that have been sort of sequential or series of sorts, and I always look at it now and go like, oh, I wish I made a different decision in the
Yeah.
first book, because now it's, you know, it's my my downfall that I have to deal with this one little element or whatever it may be. And I'm wondering with like the Nico series or you know, the Worrysaurus, are there things that you look back now and you go like, man, I wish I made that call differently at the beginning? Or is it sort of settled to a point where you just, you know it and you don't have to think as heavily, or there isn't as much of a challenge just because you've been doing it for so long?
That, I think it's kind of yes and no. It's kind of pros and cons, I guess. So yeah, there's always like things in a book. I'm like, oh God, why did I do that? And then
Yeah.
if it is a series, you're like, oh God, I need to kind of carry that on. And sometimes you like back yourself into a corner. Um, but sometimes that's like a good challenge as well. Like say like the dinosaur series of books, uh, trying to design the dinosaurs in that in like well the you know the flat sort of style where it's like they've got little eyes and everything's kind of like flat on,
Yeah.
but like trying to make them look like a dinosaur would like so a specific kind of dinosaur is a bit tricky because
Yeah.
like
Okay.
usually how like there's like one eye on one side and on the other, and then you can kind of have all the like I don't know like a crest or something, you know, like kind of things that go down, and it's sometimes it doesn't work on such a kind of flat 2D image.
Yeah. You sort of, your uh, the visual language you set up is not super deep to be able to do
Yeah,
the nuance that you need potentially on some of those.
yeah. So that's I guess one of the tricky things. Um,
With
but
oh, I was going to say with something like that. I mean, obviously, the dinosaurs have a lot of character and or the, you know, real dinosaurs, let's put it that way, have a lot of character. But you have to make decisions at some point on how to limit, because you're not going to. I mean, that would be a totally different type of book um, if you're doing realism. That wouldn't be the same thing as what that book is. And I'm wondering,
yeah,
with the with that series in particular, you had to make decisions about like how to create the shape language or what the parameters are where you were going to play by. Was that something that was um, a thought process that was like in your head and you're like, oh man, I got to plan all this out accordingly, just like in animation? I mean, since you have an animation sort of history, that idea of like doing character design work and things of the sort, did you do lots of that, or was it more sort of on the fly, sort of just, well, this character feels right, and so I'm gonna go?
yeah. I think it's always kind of like, oh, I like this character.
Yeah.
Um, or sometimes it's like, oh, I might change up my style a little bit depending on the book, or kind of like how I'm going to do it, either digital or like with pencils, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, it's
It's
and I don't think I don't go like too deep into it. Like if the character kind of feels right, and
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I like him.
You'll work
Then
with.
that's kind of yeah,
It's I worked in animation for a long time, and it was one of those ones where like I would make decisions, and part of it was because I was coming from a illustrator's background. Of I would make decisions based on what looked good in a 2D character design,
yeah,
and not what was animatable, not what was something that would be repetitious or anything of the sort. And so like I'm a big lover of plaid. I think plaid is a
oh
lovely.
god,
Yeah, exactly. Any animator is like, what are you doing?
yeah,
Or you know, like some like detail like that doesn't make a lot of sense for animation, like some like crazy hairstyle or asymmetric
yeah,
element makes it harder on everybody. Um, with now that you're in this sort of picture book world for the most part, Do you think that you have shifted the way that you think about character compared to what you were when you were doing some of the early like animation stuff, or even when you were a kid? Do you think that your perception of sort of character design has changed dramatically?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's kind of I still kind of like try to keep simple shapes as much as possible.
Yeah,
Um, but I think definitely kind of like with the years I've been doing the picture books now, I'm trying to get things to be more simple, basically. Um, that's kind of what I want. I'm just kind of striving for that, just to kind of make it simple,
yeah,
but like not make it look like so. It's I don't want to be lazy, you know what I mean? I want it to kind of
yeah,
like
yeah.
to feel simple, but it's kind of it looks so simple and it looks effortless. And I think
Yeah,
that's the hardest thing to do, really, isn't it?
I think that I know that. I mean, definitely yes. I know that when I started out in picture books, I had a vision of how they were made, and it wasn't accurate of any sort. Sadly, but I think that my goal now, and this probably sounds very similar in that same manner, is like how to make the process easier, not
Yeah.
easier. And so, like, I don't want it to look like it's simple, but boy, have I learned how to manage my time frame and my ability to make as as I've been in industry of sorts. Um, the Going back sort of to the design side and that idea of jumping into kidlit in particular, I'm wondering a little bit about outside of traditional design, and we're talking type and
Mm.
Swiss minimalism and all that kind of like outside of that element. Do you find your design work implements itself into your kidlit um, in a in another manner, in a way that is potentially what do I want to say, like um, compositions, or the things that you do with your work that are inherently design um, or manifested through some design principles?
Mm. Oh, I guess like rule of thirds and all that kind of comes to play. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to it always has to feel balanced, I think. I kind of flip the canvas and I'll liquefy my sketches and all that kind of just to make it to feel it so everything kind of feels nice and balanced and maybe I do it too much though, you kind of sometimes you can just kind of push it and then you kind of lose the whatever
Yeah.
you had.
Well,
Um,
what do you mean by liquefy your sketches? Like you sort of blur them?
no, so in Photoshop there's a liquefy option.
Yeah.
And you can kind of so you go in there, you can just push and pull the sketch around. Or
Oh,
like
okay.
so like if something looks a bit wonky, it's kind of like say if this dog's nose was kind of like down here, you can just push it up, or like it's just like sometimes that little tweak um can kind of just put the character
Yeah, just
on
give you
model um or just kind of makes it feel better really. And yeah, I do it all the time.
interesting. I mean, I know the tool. I didn't know if it was just like you blur it so you like you're looking at the general shapes and not necessarily
No, no, yeah.
the details in it. I have and I don't remember right off the bat, but I have the lovely aspect of having really bad eyesight, and so if I take glasses, everything it's real easy to get a sense of what something is without having to see details with that little move. Oh,
You've got like
yeah,
real life Gaussian blur.
yeah, exactly. It's genetic blur. That's what it is. It's thanks to my parents. Um, so, uh, with working in Kidlit, obviously, you've been doing this. You said for 13 years. Is that right? 15 years.
Like 12 or 13 now, I think it is. Yeah.
And then I know you are quite prolific. You have lots and lots of books. Do you know the number offhand, like off the top of your head, how many you've done?
I think maybe it's got to be about 50 now. I think something like that.
Okay, so I'm
I'm not. I couldn't tell you the exact
yeah.
number, but like, uh, yeah, it's if you include everything, like so the board books and stuff like that, you know.
Okay, name.
Um,
No, I'm just
God,
most difficult challenge. Um, but thinking about that sort of time frame, that means you're doing multiple books a year, or
yeah,
or potentially it exponentially grew, and you did one your first year, and then two, and then three, and then built up. But how do you manage your time? How do you? I mean, one of the things that I deal with students all the time is just they have a lot of things going on.
yeah,
Just life in general for people is always sort of challenging, and yet you're able to produce quite a bit of work and quality work in the process. And I'm wondering, hold on one second, Lauren. My iPad died, so I lost questions. Just to give you a heads up. Um, that you can text it again for me if you want in there. It's back up. Okay. Sorry about that. My wife said there was a question that was posted, and my
no
iPad that
worries.
on literally died. It lost all its power. So, um,
No.
but shoot, what was I saying? I totally lost it. Student, and then I was talking about the workload. Just
Yeah,
how do you manage the sort of day-to-day operation? Are you a nighttime worker? Are you someone that pushes up against deadlines consistently? What's it?
yeah, I used to be a like work through the night person, like till crazy hours of the morning, and I just kind of I don't know, like 4 or 5 years ago, I was just thinking I can't do this
Yeah.
because you're just killing yourself, and it's like it's only a book at the end of the day, and it's just I'm constantly kind of doing the same thing and making myself ill. Once you finish a book, your body just kind of shuts down, you know, and
Yeah.
you get super ill.
Do you? Yeah, yes, you get the sickness. Uh,
Yeah.
you've been pushing off. You're like, I don't. I'm not sick. I'm not sick. I'm not sick. And then all of a sudden, crash. The Someone said hi, Uncle Chris.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my nieces, I guess, in the
Oh,
UK.
cute. Um, One of the idea of having those books. Do you get time in between though? Like saying that you get sick or that you crash, also is with the hope that there is a moment to crash, that you're allowed to crash.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, yeah. So now I kind of like I structure everything basically. It's so when I was working in the animation company, uh, I was like animating, but also I was like project managing because there was
okay.
only five of us in the team, so it was quite a small team. So I kind of learned to love an Excel sheet. So now I've got I've got
Makes one of us. That makes one of us. Yeah.
a just come to the dark side.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
now I've got like a schedule for my picture books, and it kind of has it all like plotted out and kind of with the titles and how, like over the years and all that kind of stuff. And I think that kind of helps because it's like you can kind of see every deadline. Deadlines always kind of like they're always shifting though,
yeah,
which is so it's tricky. Kind of like when you've got like books back to back, and then kind of one shifts. You know, like, oh god, like
yeah.
how like and it's that domino effect. Um, but I kind of manage my time now. I do normal day hours, weekends off, unless it's kind of like I'm behind on something, and then I might come in on a Saturday or something. But
Have you
usually it's not that way.
have you ever had projects that like have ended up completely on top of each other? Not just like, oh, I'm waiting on notes back on sketches on this one and things of the sort, but literally they're due, you know, sort of
Oh yeah, yeah,
a kind
always, yeah. I'm
of
like everything. I always kind of overlap a little bit with projects, I guess.
intent.
Um, Yeah,
Or
because a little bit intentionally, but then also not, I guess, because I always know like something is going to happen. Like
yeah,
they're going to be they're going to take longer to get back to you on feedback, or the text is going to change hugely, or like just something's gonna something's gonna happen. So yeah, it's kind of usually just balancing that kind of that overlap. So while something's off to get feedback, and then you're kind of doing sketches for another thing, and but I kind of I think that's the kind of the way I need to do it, so I can have the time off. So like
yeah.
I've just come back to work after having the whole of August off.
Ooh, nice. You got.
It,
Do you have a rich, deep tan now? Is that?
not quite. No,
Yeah.
I've got to be careful because my dad's ginger, so it's kind of those
Yeah.
ginger genes come through in in that sunshine.
I know that pain. I do see a couple of questions here that people have posted that I want to make sure that I get to. One of them was asking about souvenirs, i.e., merch related to the Nico books.
Mm,
And do you know there's people looking for it for their son's first birthday? Um, is there a lot of product out there based on any of these books? I mean, some of this stuff is like maybe more accessible where you are or in the UK or whatnot, but not necessarily stateside. So I don't know exactly the
mm,
details, but has there been stuff because that's become a series that is well loved, and
yeah.
have they approached
Um,
made whatever it may be?
I've done these. I've done a couple of models, but these are just kind of for myself.
Yeah,
I did inquire with like a company in China about getting some made, but it's just kind of it's not worth it because something even smaller than this one, like, and then you've got all the fees of it, and then the molds and then the shipping,
yeah.
and it was coming back with like costs of like $50
Oh,
per toy or something, and that is
yeah.
before like you kind of make any sort of profit, or you're counting your time to kind of post these things and all. So it's not worth going down that route. If
And that's
hopefully, like fingers crossed, the publishers will kind of that might happen.
yeah. I
But
was gonna
at
say
the minute, nothing.
not anything in that sense yet.
Sorry.
I said the publishers haven't broached that at all yet.
No, no, not yet.
Okay.
Um, no, I think it's a lot of money to put into something. I think it needs to be big,
Yeah.
like a Bluey or something to kind of where it's not a gamble for them, I guess.
It's just funny because I would have assumed that was big enough that they would it would have been a no brainer for them to make that leap. But I'm
Well,
also not.
hopefully, I guess we haven't kind of we've had interest from America, but we haven't like took a deal yet.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully, kind of when we go to America or with the Nicos or like China and stuff, the India's like the new big one where it's like you can just sell lots of copies.
Yeah.
Maybe something will kind of happen that way, but yeah, at the minute, no, it's kind of
You need to see
just hoping.
those spreadsheets that show that it can sell, and then
Yeah, yeah,
once they get those to you, then you can do your magic and make it look beautiful. And um, it's uh, those merch side is also the thing that I think is being hit, at least on the U.S. side, with the tariffs quite heavily.
yeah,
Books are sort of a set price. It's hard to make a book be cost a lot more at this point without people noticing because it's printed on it and things of the sort. But a toy, they can jack up the price ever so slightly without you noticing
yeah.
on the shelf of some sort. There was I'm just reading the comments here. It was a question about the plaid and they were asking, would you rather animate the pattern as a static image that a character passes over, or would you rather animate it as realistically as possible? What For me, the answer to that one is I'd rather do it as a static image. But when you were doing animation back in the day, was there a real tough thing that like you hated doing, and has that translated in any way to doing kidlit now? Like for me,
Ooh.
repetition is still hard. I don't like having to draw the same thing over and over.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and that's translatable between those two industries without issue. But are there things that, like, looking back at your career, you're like, oh man, I hated doing this one thing, or
Um, so you were animating?
animating for TV? It was back in the day of Macromedia Flash.
Yeah, yeah. What did I hate doing? Well, we kind of did it. We kind of when I first started, we were doing everything in 3D. When we were we're doing a lot of like in-game animations, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess kind of everything that kind of came with that sort of side of stuff. The you can build a model. I like doing that, but then when it comes to UV mapping it, especially like I don't know 20 years ago, or whatever it was just a pain in the ass. But the animation side of stuff, I kind of blagged that job a little bit because I was working for a company in town, and they were doing advertising.
Okay.
But I was kind of wanting to break into animation, and there was like one company in the Northeast that kind of like I liked that what they were doing, so I just kind of kept emailing the guy who owned the company, who incidentally is now like one of my best friends. And so eventually kind of he got a gig on a TV show, and they needed some graphics, like for on set graphics. It was
Yeah.
like on a spaceship. And he knew I kind of did I was like doing graphic design, so he kind of said, "Oh, would you want to do this on a freelance basis?"
Um,
So I did that, and it just kind of came from there. And my first day was working in Maya, which I'd never used before, and we were doing cloth sim. And I was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna find me out. I'm gonna get fired on the first day." But like I
that
say, it kind of lasted. So
the that challenge of like 3D stuff. Like when I think of my animation stuff, it was drawing. It wasn't a real technical thing. I mean, obviously there's technicalities in it as far as like movement and things of the sort, but I always like, even to this day, I still don't get 100% how um, things like 3D rendering software, like just all the
mm.
amount of buttons that you can push in some of those programs and things you can do with it that I have no understanding of, nor will I probably ever, is fascinating to me. And so like hearing that people can pick that up is always like mesmerizing and challenging to my perception of my skill level. Let's put it that way. Because I take pride in, like, I can try and do a lot of different things, but 3D animation is out the window. Do you still do any of that for yourself of any sort, or is it that's just like that was a
I
historical?
I kind of like try to keep my hand in a little bit, I guess. I did this. I built Nico in 3D in Blender, which is like
Yeah.
free 3D program.
Yep.
And then so I like doing that kind of thing. Um, I've got like a 3D printer behind me just here, which I just haven't had time to play with enough. So I send my files off to my friend here in Spain, and she does all the printing and painting and everything. And then I've got like a little Nico rig, 2D rig. So for when a new book comes out, I'm trying to do like some little animations just for Instagram, that kind of thing. But it's trying to fit it in between the books and stuff and deadlines. It's usually not happening, but you got to
That's
try.
that idea of like the amount of work that you got to do and keeping up. I mean, technology on the animation side is moving so fast
Mm,
that it's with on the teaching side that I'm in. I don't necessarily teach that anymore, but the folks that are in that program, it seems like they're learning a new program every year, if not every 6 months, um,
well,
about
okay.
the system, and it's like to me that's uh, a bit scary, a bit challenging, but it is.
Yeah, but I guess it's like I don't know. I think when I was younger, it was always kind of like, what program do you use? What brushes do you use? This kind of thing, and it was always kind of like, that's what that's what's going to make me as good as them. And then
Yeah,
it's kind of like, as I think as you kind of go, you kind of learn. It's like it's not that, is it really? I mean, it helps. Like the brushes that like in Photoshop and stuff now, compared to when I kind of was doing
right.
animation and stuff. Like when Kyle T. Webster brought his brushes out, it was just like a bit of a game changer.
Yeah,
Who
change.
actually I met him actually a couple of months ago. He's one of like the nicest guy. So nice.
He's one of those folks that like it's funny that imagining 20 years ago that there'd be someone whose job it was to essentially make brushes in a program,
Yeah.
so such a foreign concept, and they are, and it's like everybody like, oh, Kyle T. Webster, we all know his middle initial.
Yeah,
uh
yeah.
it's a weird combo of things. The Now when you're working, thinking about that digital side, the process that you're making all your work, um, is there a heavy amount of digital, in the sense of like you spend a lot of time on the computer making, or is it more in the sort of editing and tweaking? So like as an example, I guess a better way to ask this question is,
Mm.
since your characters are so like crisp and shape oriented and things of the sort, I look at it and I go, well, some people might say, hey, that looks relatively easy to make a shape and put some eyes on it and call it a day. But what really is happening there is a huge heavy lift on simplification, and the smallest little tweak can make
Yeah.
a difference. Like you're drawing the eyes on those koalas there, and like if they're off by, a millimeter,
Yeah.
it can make them look wrong. And I'm wondering sort of your sort of processing and challenge of using computers, and where does that balance lie for you as far as making versus correcting or editing or what have you?
I think I edit myself too much for sure. I kind of like I totally overthink
Okay.
everything. Um, like the colors, just like the composition of a page. Like I spend too long on it, I think sometimes. And sometimes you like circle back around to kind of to what you were doing anyway. But it's yeah, I want to be one of those people who just kind of like can draw it straight out and it's kind of yep, that's gonna work and that's it. But I know it doesn't. It doesn't kind of happen for me like that really. What about you? Do you kind of do you think you? I mean, you do everything kind of like you kind of editing yourself on the go, right? With this or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. I mean, I do like the like figuring out on the fly, but I also think the designer in me, when it comes down to it, like I had some interns at one point, and I thought it was going to be super easy, just like, oh, interns, I can give them work. And in reality, the things that I nitpick over are things that are not universal. I thought they were like, oh,
Yeah,
this is the exact texture right here that I need to get rid of because it's too much, or I can't touch that one because that's just the perfect placement.
yeah,
It all made sense in my head, and then trying to translate that to someone else and go, okay, I need you to go through and edit my work for me afterwards, and watch them. And one of them, and the lovely people, but one of them was super nitpicky and took away too much and the other one took away too little. And so like I start to go, oh, I don't know as my thought process or my editing is something that I can translate in some way. And so it is hard to define exactly like, am I a nitpick or am I too loosey goosey? It really just depends on who's looking at it and what their interpretation is, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, but it's like you're trying to get someone in your head. It's
Yeah,
kind of like you
yeah,
make decisions kind of without even thinking it's a decision. It's just kind of it just happens because it feels right to you, and it's like trying to translate that to somebody is like how do you do that? It's
what?
like with the books,
Yeah,
I've been offered like help on like either coloring in or kind of like finishing books off and stuff, and I'm
yeah,
like, it would be nice, but like I think I'd just spend more time
train.
either correcting what they've done
Yep.
or kind of explaining exactly what I want, sort of thing.
That's the challenge with any sort of like mentee or internship or anything that we have that I've worked on is it's there's a level of teacher that has to come into play that was not there before, and that takes up time and
Yeah.
it's challenging. Um, with the help too, like there's part of me not just that like that it wouldn't necessarily speed things up, but there's also a pride factor for me too, and I don't know if you have the same thing of like I want to be able to say I did the whole thing,
Yeah.
and I know it doesn't really mean anything to sit there and go like, well, this was all me, but there is part of me that just wants to be able to say like, at that time, yeah, I did all of this. Every little bit that you see came out of my head and out of my hand of some
It's
sort.
like, yeah, if you're putting your name to it as well, it's kind of
Yeah,
it's you want it to be right.
and that's the challenge of being. I have a master's degree in visual design, so essentially, not necessarily graphic design, but sort of encompasses that. Uh,
Hmm.
that is that same mindset of like, if I don't like the type in the end, or it's not. Let's say it's not that I don't like it, but it's maybe not my top choice. But I understand the marketing side or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
That it's hard for me to be like super excited about what was done because I would sit there and go like, no, I want to say I did it, and right now I can't because someone else got their dirty little mitts.
Yeah. It's like, why the hell did you choose that font? Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like it doesn't work. Or like, why do you want the cover to be this color?
Hmm.
Uh, and when it's like this color doesn't exist in the book. It's like
There's
all these fights.
there are weird, there are definitely weird fights that happen. I've had some that like, and I won't name the book, I won't name the publisher, but they came back to me with some notes at one point and saying like, can you try this instead? And I said no, that I already tried it and it didn't work.
Yeah, yeah,
Truth of the matter is, I did not try it. I
yeah,
knew that it was a bad decision, and it was coming from someone that did not have a good or did not have a background in art. So I don't think they knew what they were talking about. And so it became a little bit of a challenge in that sense of like, I have to convince them or tell them that I tried it, even if I didn't. And the other way,
yeah.
I don't know why
It's
to do
it's
this.
tricky that one. It's kind of I've done that before, and they like and then you're like, oh, when they keep asking, you just go, oh, okay, I'm going to try, and then you're
Yeah,
like, oh shit, like, it does look good.
yeah. Oh, this wouldn't have looked good. I will tell you.
Okay, okay.
um, I see. There's a couple other questions I want to make sure I get to here, which is there was where is it? So the bathwater, who I don't know if you know on Instagram, lovely work, but says, are you someone who keeps a sketchbook or mostly draw on loose paper, like doodle? Much.
Yeah, like loose paper, and I mean, on my desk here at the minute, I've got like what's all these crappy little things, and it's just like, yeah, if something comes to me or something like that, or yeah, just random bits of paper. I don't like the idea of a sketchbook. I mean, I do like the idea of a sketchbook, But like to physically draw in a sketchbook, I don't like that. It's kind of it feels always feels like too precious or something, you know. But I mean, I've got loads and I buy them all the time. But it's just, yeah, I shouldn't.
No, it's the permanency of sketchbooks that, like, it's either that, like, once you put it down, you can't really rip it out without someone seeing that you ripped out a page, and so
Yeah.
it's like it's already tarnished in some manner. But also, I have the problem of I literally, like, never. I mean, this is common for everybody, of not finishing a sketchbook.
Mm,
Page, then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, a new book. I like the shape of this one, or the size, or the color, or whatever. And then all of a sudden you got something else. But I'm also notorious when I use sketchbooks, um, for they would just turn into a collection of nonsense. Like, it was more of just like a storage device at a certain point,
mm,
not an actual sketchbook. And so it's like, oh, I put movie ticket stubs in there, and I put, just random things that didn't need to be in a sketchbook or didn't help the artistic process in any way. And so now I'm a loose leaf baby all the way.
yeah.
I have no interest in sketchbooks, and in fact, I don't. Do you have this? Did you have the same problem that I did back in the day? And this is, I have since corrected this and told them to stop. But I used to get gifts where people would go like, "Oh, you're an artist. Here's a sketchbook as a gift." And
No, I don't think anyone's actually bought me a sketchbook.
oh, the problem is everybody would buy me sketchbooks that would be like the worst quality paper, or the size would be awkward,
Yeah,
or it
yeah,
wasn't right for me. And so I've told people now, like, don't buy me art supplies. You can give me a gift card and I will buy
yeah.
what art supplies. Don't even try it. Uh,
Back away.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know who you think you are walking in here with some art supplies for me, but um, I don't know if that's a common challenge across the board, but I know I've heard a few folks that have mentioned something similar, at least at some point. Um, and then there was a question here as well from the bathwater about AI, and
Mm.
this, yeah, I know. Let's go from a really light topic, like sketchbooks, right?
Wow. Okay.
AI. But I'm wondering, sort of, there's lots of challenges happening right now, like the Anthropic. I don't know if you know about that one or have followed that one. The civil lawsuit that happened in the states, a class action lawsuit against an AI thing for training on copyrighted material they weren't supposed to.
Oh
Uh,
no. Okay.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're in the U.S., I think in Canada too, it's happening as well. That there's a class action suit that got settled, and so people are going to see some money for
Oh.
taking people's work. But I'm wondering, there's a challenge in illustration today where you're fighting not only an uphill battle of, um, trying to define yourself amongst a huge crowd of people, but then you have this robotic monster that's
Mm.
but you've been in the business for long enough, and maybe I feel less of a threat myself too, just because I feel like I've, either I've been doing it long enough, or my aesthetic is probably not the thing that the robots are going to try to claim. But I'm wondering, sort of, your thought process on some of what's out there and the challenges that you might see going forward.
Well, yeah. I think now they're kind of training on their own slop, aren't they? It's like it's
Yeah.
kind of gone. It's gone a bit full circle. I don't agree that kind of like it's looking at our artwork, and if we haven't had the say, if an
Yep.
artist goes, okay, yeah, fine, like, then it's up to them. But for them to try like to train uh, on someone's artwork who hasn't opted in, which is kind of like this is what they do. This doing this kind of like you have to opt out. It's kind
Yeah.
of, but it should be
The other way
the
around.
other way around. Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so I don't agree with that, and I don't think I'll ever use it in my work, because I don't think it's going to kind of be. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's just gonna be frustrating, because it's not going to give you what you want. It's kind of, and you're going to spend more time, and it's kind of, and then also it's kind of using other people's work. So you don't want that. What I think it might do, though, in hope, what I'm hoping in the future is like it's going to bring tools to us,
Yeah.
which is going to kind of make our life easier. For I don't know, like I don't know, randomly like blocking out shapes. Like say you've got your sketch or something, and it can block out the shapes of the like random colors, and then you can go in and do it that way. I don't know. It's kind of I haven't really kind of thought what tools would help, but like I think just something that would kind of like, okay, this is a mundane task. This thing within Photoshop or whatever it is can cut this task down, and so I can get on and do the actual art and make it look pretty. Then I think that would be useful. But
The
it's
equivalent of the Band-Aid tool or the healing brush in Photoshop is AI technically. Like it's learning around it and things of the sort. It's grabbing, but it's not generative in the sense of it's pulling from other people's work. And like that's
yeah,
to me, that's totally okay, totally fine for it to do that side of it. But it's one of those ones where I don't know how it would help me because I do primarily traditional. I don't know. I want to invite it into my house and say, have a seat in my studio chair. But I also think that, I don't know if the same argument goes through your head that goes through mine, but just that idea of like, what publisher right now would look at that and go, like, we want to collaborate with a computer in the
yeah,
same. And like, I understand the idea of like, it can make their job easier in the sense of, oh, it can make things that potentially that are quicker or easier to get on the page or to design or like lay out some galleys or something like that. But just in the sense of um, the collaborative experience, like it seems sort of silly to me that would even be a question that people would want to work in that.
yeah.
Um,
It's
but
I kind of don't see any of the publishers I work with kind of going down that route.
yeah,
Especially, I guess, especially in picture books.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't see it. Hopefully they won't. I mean, I've had a few of the publishers kind of like say, "Oh, you got to go on Facebook and kind of and do this setting to opt out or that kind of thing." So again, I guess they're looking out for us, you know.
it'll be interesting to see as time goes on, sort of like what happens with it. But and maybe I'm naive in the whole thing, but I just don't know as like when any of the illustration stuff I do, they're looking for my opinion, and then on top of that, they're looking for, like I said, collaboration. They're looking for ways to work together to come up with a solution, not an answer.
Yeah.
Or this sounds really cheesy, but they're looking for questions to be asked by me and not an answer from me in that situation completely. And so
Mhm.
um, it's a weird. I'm not sure what the answer is. I'm not sure how it's going to play out, but that's a loaded topic. We can jump ship from that.
Yeah.
That is a loaded one. So thinking, someone just said, please save it. I don't know what that means. Thinking about sort of your style. And right now I'm running a class that's specifically on style and is talking about sort of aesthetic and what that means and how people
Mm.
approach that. You do have a aesthetic that is recognizably yours. And I'm wondering, is that something that was um, uh, achieved through evolution? Was that something that was an active choice? Was that something that how did that come to be your sort of vision for what you do and aesthetic accordingly?
I don't know. I find this topic like super tricky because I always I always feel like I want to try new things and better myself and become a
Yeah.
better artist, and so if that means kind of like trying a different technique and your style changes, then I'm kind of up for that. So I don't particularly think I've got a style, um but I think the cute animals are kind of are always the thing. I just kind of it's my it's a
Dude,
go-to, you know.
I mean,
But in terms of style, it's kind of when I've done talks in universities and stuff before, I've always said I don't particularly like so when you kind of start out, you kind of you're trying to find your style. It's kind of this is what I find like they always ask this question.
mhm.
I was kind of like, don't think about it as just like a style, because like that all just come naturally. Whatever, like it's it's more of a voice.
Yep, yep,
Like you kind of you can put yourself into these illustrations if you want, you know, and that's kind of then that's you. And if you do that, then that's going to be your become your
you're
like your style, you know.
yeah.
Um,
You're saying exactly in class to my students. It's so good.
oh, great.
You're confirming my that voice better.
Just play this video.
Yeah, style is this what I like to call a skim coat on top of your voice,
Yeah,
and so it's just like it's minor little tweaks. It's an aesthetic choice. It's something of that sort. But in reality, your voice is what you want to say with your work. And obviously there's some like visual cues that come into play, but style is too simplified of a term
yeah.
for what we're talking about here.
And I think finding your voice as well is kind of like it's. I think that's a tricky thing. And I don't think like you should like I said I don't really kind of limit myself to okay, this is how I make books and this is how it's going to be forever.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of I want to try new things because I get bored. In the animation company, I used to like try different styles for different commercials because like a lot of the stuff we would get like a commercial which was like for the same thing.
Hmm.
So it would have to be a different style. So like I think it kind of comes from that. It's just it's nice to play around and not kind of box yourself in.
Well, how do you play with style? Like I'm using the word style, but really voice, I mean, is the better term. I use style because most people know that word or
Yeah,
understand better than potentially saying voice. Um, but how do you personally sort of play around with some of those elements? Um, is it something wherein like you sort of wildly go at it and say I'm going to try something completely new, or is that something where you have a process of like trying to ease yourself into a new aesthetic or a new approach?
I think it's kind of like because I don't have the time to kind of to play around and then put that in into a book. It's kind of like you kind of just try new things per project. I was like, oh, I like I've seen this. I like this. I might kind of try a little bit of that, and see kind of how that works. See if I like it. Um,
Have
I
you
don't know.
went horribly awry in a like,
um,
that's the other that's the other question. Yeah.
uh, Not yet, I
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
I mean, there's always time.
Yeah. No mistakes over there, apparently.
Please, no mistakes.
must must
Uh,
must be nice. Um, well, it's that leads into a question I like to ask everybody, and I think this is a sort of a loaded question in some sense of what means success, what means failure in your work.
oh,
Yeah, this is like switching to that AI topic. Like, ooh, this got dark. But like for me, success can be if it makes me laugh, if it's something that feels like I still have a goofiness and my voice is coming through, but it's clearly a the play is still there. But failure,
yeah.
like overworking a piece or not accepting the mistakes and trying to correct or correct too much to the point wherein it becomes a job in a way,
Hmm.
like static and challenging in that manner. And I'm wondering, do you have those sort of parameters or things that you might consider being success or failure in that instance?
Uh, hmm. Uh,
You may,
it's it's funny because like when you when you finish a book, it's like you kind of it's done and it's gone, and then you like kind of you don't really see it again for I don't know, like 6 months or something, you know. Um, and sometimes I'm kind of like, oh God, like why did I do that? But I think I've kind of learned to live with, okay, you did that in the moment, it was kind of felt right. And most like Joe blogs, public, don't even like, won't even know this.
yeah,
Yeah, kind of, I think sometimes I sweat the small stuff too much. And it's not good, good for anything really. It's just, I guess I've got to learn to, just let go sometimes. But it's like when you've spent so long on a project, it becomes your baby, you know.
yeah. It's hard to sort of separate yourself from.
Yeah,
I'm working on a project right now, and I'm at the tail end of it. I mean, I got like just a spread or two left, and halfway through, I'm like, this turned out great. And now I'm there's a question in the back of my head of like, is this good or is this just passable at this time?
oh
Or
okay,
would I have made a different decision, had I started it today versus then? And a lot of it is just it's imposter syndrome. It's seeing other books out there, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool what they did with this little, like how they interjected this
yeah.
shot, and I need to get rid of that mindset. But it is a challenging sort of uh, thing to sort of look back and understand where you are successful or where you are not. I see Tom Booth is on, and he says, "Love Chris's work." I don't know. Do you know Tom Booth? Tom will tell.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, you got to go look up his stuff. His stuff is great. Um,
I probably do, but it's like
yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
can't think of it right now.
ask me a name, and I only know names because of folks that I've had on.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
who drew the book that I is sitting on my coffee table upstairs? I couldn't tell you. Um, so it says he is very prolific. I'm wondering if he has thoughts on work-life balance, and if his thoughts on that balance has changed over the course of his career. Um, and so Tom, in particular, has a little one, a young
Mm.
home. Do you have kids?
Yeah, I've got a 2-year-old.
Okay, so
Just
you're
well, not
same.
quite two, but yeah, getting there.
Yeah, you're in the same sort of range time wise as Tom, and so how do you manage that balance,
It's
or do you? Maybe you don't. Maybe that's a loaded. I'm putting words in your mouth. Maybe it is a complete mess. But
I think like the first year was
yeah,
um because it was kind of like you have to take time out, and it's kind of this new thing in your life, and it's really hard and it's stressful. And then coming back to work, it was like that domino effect of okay, those projects that were put on hold are still there.
yeah,
But I guess just having someone who backs you, like your partner or whoever it is, that I mean, that's the biggest thing. If they can allow you to work, and just be there for you, and kind of you get through it, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you can have your weekends, and just make sure you kind of like have the time for yourself, really, because it's like why you at the end of the day, it's like yes, you're doing these books possibly because you like, well, hopefully because you want to do it and you enjoy it. But I always kind of think, well, it is a job as well,
hmm do you
and you've got to kind of yeah, you've got to have that balance. So you've got to have your weekends. Somebody in a normal job wouldn't like usually doesn't go in to the office on a
yeah,
weekend, you know.
won't work that late
Yeah.
on? Um, do you with thinking about that sort of like balance specifically with a little one, just that idea of are you this is going to be how do I say this without sounding like a complete jerk, are you trapped uh, uh, in the sense that like is your time so hard to predict in this moment of what is, what's going to happen today, what's going to like, and here's an example. I have a 12-year-old at home, and
Mm.
the morning at urgent care because he smashed his finger last night, and we thought maybe he broke his finger. And
Oh,
it's like, well, I had plans for the morning of stuff I was going to do, and then all of a sudden that sort of out the window.
yeah.
And with a 2-year-old, it's not just things like that, like having to go to the doctor, but it's also you kind of have to watch a 2-year-old a lot, and
Yeah. Yeah.
stop.
Please
Uh,
don't die. Please don't die.
yeah. Are you breathing? Are you breathing? Um, and I'm wondering, sort of your like, are you spending like, is your time challenged because of just life? Because things get in the way, because you have to run an errand and things of the sort. Because as illustrators, we have a looseness to um, our schedule. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been to the gym in in 2 years, I guess. So there's like things like that, I guess.
You can hold that over your kid later on in life.
Yeah.
Look at
This
this.
this
Look
belly
at
is because of
this.
you.
Yeah, exactly. Your wife will probably be saying the same thing, right? Just
Yeah.
this because of you.
um, I think I like to think I kind of manage my time okay now, especially with like the schedules and stuff and my agents. Um, I'm always backwards and forwards with them talking about dates. Going so we go backwards and forwards to the publishers. So it's kind of it's I think as long as you kind of keep everybody in the loop,
Yeah.
and things that need to move. If something kind of like you say something happens in your life that you kind of weren't expecting, I think usually there's like people are nice enough to go, okay, it's like we understand. Um, so I'm gonna. I think everything's kind of okay right now. I guess.
Yeah. You don't have to report in on your.
I've got a deadline for the end of the month, so it's kind of like you should have asked me in a couple of weeks, I guess. And I
Yeah.
was like, the answer might have been different, but
Yeah. This right now it's manageable, but give it a week or two, and
yeah, and
you'll be crying.
stress head.
Yeah, you'll be in your own little world at that point.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, it is challenging in that sense of just as a pure illustrator without any sense of regular schedule.
Mm.
Like, even I teach, but I don't teach every day, and so the consistency is not always there.
Yeah.
One thing, and the next day it's something completely different, and you just don't know from day to day. And especially just thrown in that mix of kids and life and things of the sort. Speaking of that, have you missed a deadline?
I've yeah. I go over sometimes, but like I say, I kind of like make them aware of it. Like I don't just wait
Yeah.
for the deadline and go, okay, it's like it's not here. Sorry, I need another month or something.
Tough. Yeah.
Um, I think what I was going to say is like I think it's maybe made me. I'm kind of contradicting what I was saying earlier. That I kind of overthink things, but I
Yeah.
think I probably don't overthink it as much as I used to. It's kind of like I'm kind of okay. This needs to be done, so it's going to get done, and I'm going to kind of like okay, this works. Like just go with that. And so I think in terms of that, it helps.
Well, I don't think that's contradicting because, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but um, I am OCD on certain things. I'm a perfectionist on certain things, and I'm not on others. Like, clearly not on others. And so I think it's like it's almost situational in the sense of, um, I might be very in that sense of what you're talking about of being like a someone who really plays by the book on one thing, and then another,
Mm.
yeah, it is what it is. Life today threw me this curveball, and I just have to deal with it. Um, and so I I don't know, is it like negates, or I would argue that back saying like that it's not binary, of some sort
Yeah.
of flexibility in that, as a, especially in sort of illustration and the expectations and the way that the career goes. Um, with so I want to go back a little bit and sort of talk life as well, but not on the like the challenges of life, but thinking about those extracurriculars, as we
Yeah.
would, like the things that you do that are either tangential or are uh, adjacent to art making, that you think sort of have added to or made your art better over time. So like, are you someone who gets out to shows, like gallery shows and things of the sort? Are you a big music person? I'm wondering sort of like what other things influence your art besides pure art making,
Hmm.
if there is anything. It may not.
Well, no, I guess I'm kind of really interested in art and illustration and all that kind of stuff. So I think if there is something out there like a gallery show or um like a makers fair, that kind of thing, then I'm always like really kind of happy to go to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And there's quite a lot of that here in Barcelona. There's quite a big like comic collection of artists here.
Is there
So that's quite nice to see, like, because it's like I don't do that, but there's like there's like similarities in that because they're telling a story, just
yeah.
in more images, I guess.
Is there a siesta there?
uh, yes. So yeah, at 1 o'clock the shops shut till 5 o'clock.
Whoa,
Um,
4 hours in the middle.
yeah, which I mean I don't siesta myself. Actually, I can't imagine anyone really siestas. Um, it's just kind of it's one of those like dated things, I guess.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
so it's just kind of I think it's just become a thing, but then you spend more time like later on, so the shops are open till late, so you might go for dinner later, and then it's a bit more everything's a bit more social here. If you're gonna have a drink, like back in the UK, if you want to go for a drink, you go for a drink, and sometimes that means a lot of drinks. But in Spain, it's kind of like okay, like let's go for a drink. But then you go for a drink, and it's kind of okay, let's have some tapas, and it's like there's always like food
do a bigger event. I know
involved as well.
the school that I teach at, we introduced a what we call a siesta, which is essentially a break in the afternoon where we're not supposed to have meetings. Um,
Mm,
like we can actually sit down and have a conversation, and it's not just a, well, I need to get this file out to the creditors by this time, and blah 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 blah. However, it has turned into meetings. Just
ah.
that's the only time I can meet, and so it turned into. Um, so we still call it a siesta, but that's it's a false claim. Let's put it that way. Um,
Typical.
yeah, but it's that same thing where it's like people say they take a break then, but not really.
Yeah.
Turns into something else. It turns into time to get all the things done that you should have gotten done earlier. So what is
Yeah.
it?
Or
Um,
you doom scroll on your phone or something.
yeah, exactly. Uh, so with the move to Barcelona, was that something that was a for career? Was that something that was just a life change? I'm wondering, the reason why I ask in particular is just the sort of the art scene there. I know that they have a thriving art scene.
Yeah.
Gives some advantage in your career, or is it because you're a freelance illustrator for the most part, you can just be wherever?
Well, yeah. The easy answer is that I met somebody, and she's Spanish, so it's kind of like
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Because
um,
yeah,
but
yes.
she's illustrator as well, so like that kind of helps.
You want to plug?
Yeah, Jeannie Espinosa. So she does older. Well, she used to be in kids lit as well, but now she does like older illustrations for bigger companies like Apple and all that kind of stuff. And she makes her own graphic novels as well.
Ooh.
Like they've been like really kind of successful in Spain. Like
do you ever bat
really.
art battle?
No, no, no. She's way better than me. It's
Smooth,
like yeah,
smooth. That's
yeah.
good.
No, no. Like for real. Like she wouldn't say it, but yeah, she is.
I see Tom Booth asked one more question. And it is, I'm about to do my first window advert for a new book coming out. Any tips or tricks you've learned from working on a window?
Oh, don't do it in the middle of the day if the sun shines right on it.
Yeah.
Um, because you just become a sweaty mess.
Rest your arm.
Tips. Rest your arm. I think just don't go too much because everything always takes longer than you think. Um, like I just did some Nico ones in July in London. It was like a couple of days, a couple of windows.
Yeah.
And actually, one day was I did 2 windows in a day.
Oof.
So I kind of like prepped myself. So I did some cardboard cutouts. So I thought I could hang some seagulls from the ceiling. So I kind of like went prepared. So I kind of wasn't doing everything on the day.
Yeah.
I just kept it as simple as possible. Like try like the colors as simple as possible. So you're not mixing kind of per se. And then just acrylics. I did like Poscas as well for certain things, but then I found if you try to put the acrylic paint over a Posca, it'll just flake off.
Mm.
Or it might, well, that's in my experience, this is kind of what's happened. But
I,
yeah.
I,
Have you ever done windows for your books?
I have not done windows, but I've done murals, which are somewhat,
Oh, okay.
you
Yeah.
know, you don't have to work backwards, which is lovely.
Yes. Yeah.
But the wear and tear on the body of doing something that's, when you're used to sitting down working and all of a sudden you are up, out and about, or like when I was doing the murals, I was up on ladders and I would just come home at the end of the day and my shoulders would hurt.
Yeah.
Have my arm up in the air constantly. One of the things that I found easy, and I don't know what it would be like with Windows, was for cheapness too, is at the places like Home Depot or those kind of stores around here, you can get sample house paint.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
It's little like $2 little containers of it. That's plenty to cover windows of any sort, and goes down potentially a little bit easier just because it's a little bit thinner and
Yeah.
spreads better, and also is intended to be super opaque. So you don't, if you buy the high end stuff, super opaque, and so that was a lifesaver when doing the murals for me, just cost wise even, and so
Yeah.
I might lean on something like that in the end, but no, I bought them at one point. I had someone suggest for doing the Windows stuff in the future to get some chalk markers, and I got those.
Okay.
I don't know if they're any better, honestly. Like I don't know if they're going to add that much to the experience, but that idea of being able to apparently it sticks to the glass a little better is what I heard. But again, I have not used them in that capacity yet. They've been used in other ways in my studio, but not necessarily on Windows.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea
Uh,
of like, stencils and getting everything set up once, so if you go have to do it again, you have like, here's the head shape. I don't have to do it multiple times for this to work out.
yeah. Oh, and if you're gonna print something to trace, make sure you print it backwards because
Yeah.
I've done that mistake before.
Oh, that was backwards. I'm trying to think. There was something that I had to do recently that was like some backwards printing for a student at some point. I don't remember what it was I was doing, but yeah, it was like you got to make sure you do that. Otherwise, you're going to be back at the printer again.
Yeah.
Thinking the whole thing out. When you get those offers to do Windows, is it just, hey, your book's coming out, let's promote it, or is there some other not necessarily intent, but is there some sort of like, well, we will give you, some money to do this, or
No, it's never cash. It's usually kind of because you're promoting the book. So
yeah,
the Nico ones in particular, I just did my publisher organized all that, and we kind of went around the bookstores and signing the books and stuff like that as well.
yeah,
Kind of made the whole thing of it.
yeah, did an event.
Left some stickers in the store, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, that's making it an event, or making it something where like your benefit is not necessarily financial, but hopefully that means that a bunch of people out there are going to buy this book, and they'll see it and be more tempted to walk into the store.
Yeah, and if you go to the bookshops and you sign the books, then they can't send them back.
Yeah. Oh, not true. I've had bookstores that have said whatever we don't sell, we'll send back as signed, and
Oh,
to
oh,
another signed or something of the sort. But effectively, yeah, I don't think they do that with a lot of them, because the stores that have you in don't buy, so many that they buy based on what they think they can sell.
yeah.
But I've heard that they have sent them back, or at least they have in my case. I won't, maybe not in your case. In my case, they've sent them back, which is, now I'm just realizing that's sad if that's true, that it's only in my case. But the what was I don't remember what I was going to say off of that. With doing events, are you out there doing events often? I mean, obviously, like if a publisher wants you to do them, but is that your cup of tea?
No, I'm kind of like, yeah, like even for this, I was kind of nervous, you know.
Really?
Yeah, like I think just kind of in person and stuff. I can talk to people and stuff, but if you have to go and like perform like on a stage or something like that, it's yeah, that's kind of it's not me. But I guess I, what's sort of changing now, like and especially kind of with promotion and the Instagram thing of it, is illustrators have been asked to do that more and more.
Yep.
And you got like your books coming out, will you do a video, this kind of thing. And in the past, I'm like, oh God, no, I can't. And I'm just kind of, you come to the realization, it's like, you've got to like just do it. It'll get easier. It'll get, hopefully. Um, so yeah, I'm starting to do that kind of thing, but it doesn't come natural. Do you like kind of, I guess you're teaching and stuff like that. So you kind
No,
of comfortable up there or?
it really is. It's funny. It's different. It's like I can be. So we were at some event for like my son's school, and it was a like workshop day, and the parents and the kids had to do these events, like sort of a field day of sorts. And I did not want to be in front of the crowd or speak out loud or anything of the sort. But get me in front of my college environment, and
Mm,
can you get up and talk about the school? Can you get up and talk about sort of art making in general? And I have no problem, not a single problem doing that. When it comes to kids, I'm always like, oh, I got this. It's easy, and it is in a sense. Like public speaking is not as threatening at this point, but as I've talked with a few folks, the challenge for me is I'm used to speaking to adults on a regular basis,
right.
not used to having to simplify or change what I say for clarity.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I'm having to, explain some aspect of the industry in a way that, at first I'm like, oh, well, the publisher does this. And then I realize like little kids don't know the term publisher. And so I have to spend a few minutes on public is, or
Stupid kids.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, but I also worry heavily that I'm going to swear,
Ah, yeah.
which is a whole nother thing. And I haven't yet, and I don't all that much in my life. After having a kid like that, some sort of like flip got switched where I just don't do it in the same way that I once did. But it is still that threat of like, oh man, I'm going to say something, and then I'm going to hear these kids be shocked, and I won't know what I said. I don't. Do you when you're doing those kind of events? I don't know if this speaks to your sort of your plight in that situation, but I do those events, and then when I'm done, I don't remember what I said. And what I mean by that is like I sort of black out in those moments, and so I speak, I do what I need to do, and then come an hour later when someone says, "Oh, how'd it go? What'd you say?" I couldn't
Yeah.
at all, and I think it's like some defense mechanism, so I don't have to hear my own voice in my head or
So
what.
maybe you do swear like a
Yeah,
lot.
they've
You
never.
just don't remember.
Yeah, it's there's a reason why I haven't been back there, and maybe ask all those crying kids when I told them that there's no afterlife or there's no, there's, your dog actually isn't at a farm upstate. Those kind of they got real dark. Um, but I do. This is to this day when I go to those events, I sweat so much. I know this is
Yeah.
TMI, but just like the nervousness of speaking in front of those kids. And I don't in sort of the collegiate atmosphere, but in front of kids, I am like drenched before the event starts and always like feel awkward when they come up to talk to me afterwards. I'm like, you don't want to be near me right now. I'm disgusted.
Yeah. No, that's the real reason you don't get invited back.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just,
He
he
stinks.
left this puddle behind.
Disgusting. That disgusting author. We're not having him back at all. Um, do you enjoy interaction with kids at least though? Like even if it's not your cup of tea to go out there and be front facing all the time or to do these sort of like promotional things, do you still get a reward out of it?
I've never done one with kids yet.
You've never done one with kids?
No, I've never done like a school visit or something. I've done promotion like with adults and stuff like that. And
What?
but yeah, no, I've never. Um, no, I've never done like, and it's.
Weird.
I mean, I would be terrified to do it, but I've also never been kind of asked to do it. So it's kind of
So they're
that's
just
part of the reason as well.
adults even though your books are for kids?
Well, it's kind of like the stuff I've done for the adults is like it's been to buyers
Oh,
and
okay.
sellers and stuff like all this kind of stuff like proper business promotion.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, no, I haven't really done that side. I've done basically like kid events where it's all kids. I mean, there's parents there, but it's rare for me to go to an event and it's just like adults. And that's why maybe that's why it's scary is just like the lack of adult supervision. Uh, that situation. I mean, I will say one of the things that I have done is I've gone and done school visits. Uh, and besides just bookstores and things of the sort, but school visits, the scariest thing in those situations to me is um, this kids all love you. They're all like, "This is great. I can't believe you're here and you're my hero," or whatever it is. They don't even know you, but they've read your book once and they're like, "This is so exciting." But what's scary to me is all the teachers that sit around who finally have their break to not have to deal with the kids.
uh,
And I know, like in the back of my head, they're just like, they're judging me the whole time. Like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Or,
no,
and so like, that's the thing that's probably more scary than the kids, let alone, but the kids are lovely. You got to go do a school visit or like a kid event.
yeah, I think it will. I guess it will come
It'll,
eventually.
especially because you have a 2-year old. Once your kid is in school,
Oh
um,
well, I mean, it's going to be a Catalan school, so yeah. My Spanish is bad enough. Never mind Catalan. So I think I might dodge that bullet.
yeah. Wait, so you are speaking Spanish while you're there, I'm assuming.
Well,
Or
badly, yes, but
okay.
badly, yeah.
Um, but you're able to get around at least.
Yeah, I can order a beer and I can order some tapas, and that's all. It's yeah, I'm all good.
You have to have your wife or your partner with you to like come out and translate for me. Um, the my wife has been doing what's it called? One of the phone.
Duolingo.
Yeah, it's one of the phone like learning things, and she's been doing
Mm.
so long. and I took Spanish in school, but she knows so much more than I do at this point. And I wasn't I'm not a good language study,
No, yeah,
but
it's tricky,
um,
right?
I imagine being in or near Barcelona that it's easier just because you're enveloped by it of some sort. Um,
That people say my accent is good, so like when I speak it, I don't like have that um really bad like this English person trying to do Spanish.
yeah,
So I guess that helps because it's just I've heard people say it properly, like so it's kind of that's how I pronounce it. So yeah, I mean that helps, but yeah, I'm still so bad, and it's kind of one of the other things is I like day to day I'm in the studio just drawing badges. So don't like get to like talk to people all the time. So
yeah.
I'm kind of a little bit lazy as well.
Uh,
I need to get out there and learn some Spanish, but
I,
it's finding the time.
I see there's another question here that I think is a lovely question, but also a challenging question to answer. And
Oh
it'll,
God.
when I say this. So the question is from Chris Badalona.art. I have a question. Since you decided to dedicate yourself to illustration, basically until you got your first job, like you essentially decided illustration was the thing. How long did it take? So, and I don't know if it's necessarily that we need to get into how long did it take before the first job, but more so, um, what are those kind of expectations for someone who is considering entering this industry? Was
Mm.
was there a time frame where you were thinking like, oh man, this isn't going to work out, but you automatically were sort of in a little bit because of the graphic design, or you had some direction, right?
I
So
get, but the thing is, I never kind of the illustration wasn't like on my radar. I always wanted to, after doing the graphic design and stuff, I wanted to be an animator. I wanted to go and work at Pixar and all that kind of stuff. And I was working at this animation company, like I said before. And kind of yeah, I was enjoying what we were doing there. And we were animating on some TV shows, and one of them was I don't know if you've heard of Tracy Beaker.
no, I don't know that one, but
It's a really famous set of books here in the UK.
okay,
And it was live action, but then the kids in the show would have like dreams, and that was like animated.
okay, gotcha.
So yeah, we were animating on that, and there was one show. What was it, Tracy Beaker? And I think we were pitching for something. I was like, and they basically referenced this picture book. So off I went to the bookshop and kind of like went down to the picture book kids section, and I was like, wow, like I think I just kind of I had picture books and stuff as a kid, but then just not visited that world in so long.
Yeah,
And I kind of my eyes opened to this. I thought, oh, actually, this would be really, really fun to do. And at the time, the animation company we'd we'd merged with a live action company and got too big, too quick. There was some money problems, and basically like, things were going wrong, and there was like the creative side of stuff wasn't really there anymore. It was kind of all about like the money side of stuff. So I
yeah.
was like, okay,
Good. No,
um, I'm gonna kind of just say I'm gonna leave this job. So I told my boss, I was like, I'm gonna leave. Um, Then, but like I said, I'm not going to do it now. Kind of like I'm telling you, I'm giving you a heads up. It's like say it might be like 6 months or something. But I kind of this is what I want to kind of this is the route I want to go down. And because we were friends, he kind of like totally understood, and he was backing me and stuff. And then the company I was working for, we were doing the Tracy Beaker show, and then they were like, "Oh, as a company, it's not viable anymore. Like, there's not enough money in it." So the producer of the show came to me and said, do you want to do it like in your spare time?" I said, "Oh, I can't do it in my spare time." And then I thought, actually, this is my out.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like 3 months worth of work. It was a decent amount of money to go with. So yeah, I made the leap for
Was that
that.
was that a difficult decision? I mean, obviously, like it's difficult in the sense of like no one wants to just go, "I'm out of here, peace out."
Yeah,
Um, but that is a big leap of faith in a life, especially if you don't know where the next paycheck's coming from or the next,
yeah.
what have you. Was that something that took a long time to decide?
Like I said, I kind of like I told my boss I wanted to leave, and then so yeah, that in terms of leaving, that did take a while. But when I was offered the animation, I was like, okay, it was a decent amount of money for for one person as a company. Like yeah, it probably wasn't viable
Yeah,
to do. And then so yeah, I kind of like hit on lucky really because I left with that, and then I had a friend in an advertising company. They're like, "We need some explainer animation videos done right now." I was like, "Oh God, I can't. I'm animating on this." But then the company I was working for went went bust.
uh,
So it's like I left, and then 2 weeks later, everyone got let go. So I was like, "Wow, this is like I never saw it coming." And people were asking, "Did you know? Did you know?" I was like, "I didn't know." So
yeah. You have to
I
know.
was able to hire one of my friends who I used to work for to animate on the show while I did this other thing, and that kind of gave me a big chunk of money to kind of go, okay, right, I'm gonna start working on my portfolio for the illustration side of stuff.
Mm. Was that? I mean, obviously, the idea of jumping into illustration probably was um, a good bet for you, especially based on sort of your skills and your experience and things of the sort. But um, was there a moment in there at all where you said like, "Oh no, this was a bad decision," or like was there a time frame where um, the thought turned from this is going to work out to I don't know what tomorrow is going to bring of any sort?
Mm. No, I think I've been quite lucky, like
Okay.
from day one of starting with my agent. So they found me on Twitter. One of my friends was like, who was with the agency already, was like, you want to check this guy's work out? Because I was posting like to a hashtag thing on Twitter, like daily illustrations or something. I can't remember what the hashtag was, but so they contacted me, asked if I want representation, and then it kind of worked. I was still kind of animating on some bits while the illustration work was coming in. So like I was doing kidlit, and sorry, not kid, education stuff first, and then that kind of led into got my first picture book, and then it's just kind of it's yeah. I think I've had some lucky times getting the right like getting paired with the right authors. Some books kind of going well. Like I've got the series of books, so like the dinosaur books and with Rachel Bright and the 10 Minutes to Bed series, which is kind of just like huge now in terms of like we do the picture books, but we also do there's like the spin-off side of stuff, like board books.
Do you ever wish that it would? And this is probably the worst thing for someone out there who's trying to break in to hear. But do you ever wish it would slow down a little, in the sense of like, not necessarily like, obviously if you got paid enough, but do you feel like you're still hustling at this point and would love some like not necessarily free time, but like a moment to rest in a way?
Yeah, the plan is to get paid more and work less.
Yeah,
Like, but no, like I want to do less books in a year. So realistically, I want to kind of maybe do carry on the series that I do. So like do maybe two other people's books in a year, and then that leaves me time to do my own picture books, and then also hopefully Nico continues. Um, yeah, that's the plan. But at the minute, I'm kind of fully booked for the next couple of years, so yeah,
not in sight.
it's yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's one of those things where like I I would love to have more work, but I also know that there's a limit on how much I'm willing to take on for the comfort level of like you said, like I don't want to work nights and weekends and all that.
yeah.
Help it. And
You've
so
got to learn to say no, right?
yeah, and it's not easy to do that when you're starting out.
No, no,
It,
exactly. I
20
said yes to way too much stuff, and that's why I was working like stupid hours,
yeah,
And it just breaks you.
it's a challenging thing because you want to like get out there and be seen, but at the same time, like at what cost?
Yeah,
And it's not an easy decision to say no. And I understand, especially for like when I'm teaching students, that idea of if you're living paycheck to paycheck,
yeah,
eat
yeah,
groceries. It's hard to stop and say no. I don't want to do that because you want to save up for a car or whatever it may be.
yeah,
So it's not an easy decision all the way around. But at a certain point, hopefully, at a certain point in people's careers, they can just go, "This isn't the right fit for me, and I need to pass, knowing that someone else will get this job and it will make them happy or what have you." There's a question here,
mm.
a couple of questions actually. So one of the questions is about working from home, and this is from Kirk Paris Hart. It looks like, who says. It gets pretty lonely, and I'm curious if either of you have experienced working in a shared space.
Yeah. So um, before coming to Spain, I was working in a shared space. So there was some of the illustrators in there and some picture book designers. That was in Brighton in the UK. So that was really good. But I kind of did a year of that. But before that, I was at home by myself all day. And I think it's nice to kind of get out the house. And
Yeah,
I know it's kind of like not like viable for everybody to do, but if you can, if there's a place and it's cheap enough, then it just kind of even just that walk to work, I think, kind of helps.
yeah. I have never. I mean, I've worked in a shared space when I was in college, kind of situation. But outside of that, I am not the type that will make the trudge to a space that is um, a a shared space.
Mm,
I need it to be easy to get to, and
yeah.
so to I tend to stay at home. Let's put it that way. But
I have a studio right now, and it's a 2 minute walk away from my
yeah,
house. So
2 minutes. 2 minutes sounds feasible.
yeah,
That's more in line. I definitely am not going to walk across town to get to a studio or anything of the sort. And I live far enough outside of a city, like a proper city at this point, that it wouldn't be a walk. It would be a drive to anything. And so like
okay. Well, yeah. So are you in the northeast of the states?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
we're in New Hampshire,
Mm,
and so we're just north of Boston. And I mean, I know plenty of people that studios are for them, but I also know that my life is so chaotic that just finding time to get into studio and to be consistent with it would be hard. And so
yeah.
um, it has not been for me a studio practice in the same way. But I do have a studio in my house. I mean, I have a hefty sized room here to be able to spread out in and have supplies and all that kind of stuff. And I do think a studio is worth it versus a a like coffee table or a
Yeah. Yeah.
think
like
having
having a space to go to, and
yeah, a
yeah,
dedicated space that is yours. And I know that's hard, especially for people who are trying to start out because you may not have the finances to have a flexible space. But I think that designating some spot in your house where it's like this is, or your apartment or whatever it is, this is my space to work. It cannot be invaded by house or
yeah,
daily life. I think is a good thing to have.
yeah. I think if you're working from home, if you've got a place where you can walk away, shut the door,
Yep.
and then kind of like, okay, this is like that's work in there, and then out of here, this is home time.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried working like on there was a time where the Olympics were going on, and I was like, oh, I want to watch the Olympics, and so I brought up supplies out of my studio and worked on the coffee table, and that's that's fine. It's every once in a while working in that kind of space, but it is nice to not have to like take down my supplies when I'm done to have dinner
Yeah.
or it may be. There's also another question here that is, uh, oh, there's a couple questions here. Okay, so how do you structure a normal day of work? So thinking about normal day of work implies that there is some standard or normalcy to it, but that doesn't always happen.
Mm.
Is there a dream schedule for you? Like, oh, this is the time that I show up, and this is the time that I'm able to put into uh, my practice or whatever it may be. Is there an ideal for you?
I I pretty much kind of do like anywhere between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning till like 6 o'clock ish now,
Okay.
and that kind of works out well um, for spending like time with the kid and kind of yeah, just having some quality time and finishing at a decent time and just kind of feeling like you do have some wind down time to watch a bit of telly and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Some we'll see in your life. Some
Yeah, exactly.
you're not
Um,
weird art studio practice all the time in your life that you can yeah got
my dream would be to not like just work Monday to Thursday and have Fridays off, like have like a long weekend, you know.
you're getting,
Um,
you're getting that siesta mindset all of a sudden.
yeah, yeah.
My dream is
Mañana,
not
mañana. Yeah.
one and four. Yeah. Is
What do you do in terms of hours?
uh on the days that I can get into studio, it is a like generally a 2 until dinner, sometimes into the nighttime, depending on the schedule. But most of the time, it's so random. Again, it's like with teaching, it depends on what days of the week I'm teaching. It depends on sort of when I have meetings and things on the side. So during the summer, it's a lot more consistent, and I'm able to like set aside that time. And in that case, yeah, it can be afternoons are the preferred. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
I am not a morning person. I stay up way too late. And so like there were days when I was working on some projects where I would stay up until 3 or 4 in the morning,
Yeah.
trying to get the project done, and then you crash the next morning or afternoon or whatever because of that late night.
Yeah.
Uh, and so I've tried to step away from that. My weekends, I've kind of really tried to stop working.
Yeah. Good.
And yeah, it's just, for healthy mind. And it doesn't mean that I'm not thinking about artwork or I'm not, doing,
Yeah. 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 It's kind of it's non-stop, isn't it? Really.
yeah,
But
it's,
you seem to work really quick though. It's kind of like you've usually finished illustration on these videos. So
yeah, I try to on these. Sometimes it goes a little longer, but like I can get in a matter of an afternoon, I can generally get a spread done for, uh,
well,
if I'm not concentrating on other things, nothing else gets in the way. And it doesn't mean that, it's always a real complicated, beautiful spread. Sometimes those take a couple of days, but I also don't work on a single spread at once. Um,
yeah. 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 I like to jump around. Yeah.
yeah. So the someone else asked, and I think this is a loaded question based on what my students always struggle with is how do you plan a background? So
Oof.
that's the one like people love characters.
Yeah.
Characters. But when you ask at least the student body right now that's going through college, almost all of them love to draw a character, but you ask them to draw a background and they stall out. Uh,
Yeah.
and I don't know what it is that causes that, but are you someone that loves a background? Are you someone that dreads a background?
Yeah, I'm not a lover of the backgrounds. If I could do a character on a flat color background, then I'd be happy to do that. But yeah, it never really kind of goes that way, does it?
Yeah,
I think yeah, you've got to just kind of work to your strengths really. So I never do anything like with crazy perspective and that kind of stuff.
yeah,
I usually keep everything quite flat. Like my characters are usually quite flat, so just kind of works that way. Yeah, just I think just kind of do whatever is works best for you. Really, I mean, you to do picture books, you've got to do it. Although some people can get away with just doing like white backgrounds and things like that, and like simple white space and all the rest of it. But um, I haven't had the luxury of that yet.
yeah. Backgrounds are so like either I feel like it is a love-hate relationship of sometimes they're the most wonderful thing in the world and sometimes they're an absolute pain. And it's if digital, I feel like it's less of a challenge because you don't have to, and I know it probably is not true me saying that, um but you can put something on a layer behind and it's easy in that sense.
Yeah, yeah,
If I don't put the background in first and I put the character in, then all of a sudden I'm having to fight edges around those characters for the entirety of the project. And
yeah,
that can be an absolute pain in the butt. And so I try to get them out of the way, but I'm also someone like I'm in the same boat as you. I'm not the person who's going to go paint every single tree in a forest. I'm going to make a forest that has one tree and then a
yeah.
bunch of implied trees. And
Shapes, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like
Texture, just kind
yeah,
of.
the crowd in the piece today is just a bunch of squiggles, and that's sort of it. And so, you try to cut corners. I was talking to someone the other day about how drawing crowds is. That's why I decided to do something like this today. I got to do a whistle, and then I can do a crowd, and that's about the idea of like how do you simplify to the point where it implies something, but it is not in any shape or form uh, like convoluted or a drudgery to get through
Yeah.
those shapes or whatever it may be. Um, with the work that you do, obviously there's things that you love to draw. I mean, you said dogs. Dogs were not necessarily a fallback, but that's one of the things that you mentioned being a joyful
Yeah.
thing to draw and to put into
It's
your.
just, yeah. I think you could do them so simply, like the shapes. It's just kind of, and then they're lovely little things, aren't the dogs? Like,
Do you have a dog?
yes, a little pug.
Oh,
He's disabled though. His back legs don't work.
when you got him, was it that case or was that?
No, no, it's over the last like few years. He's had multiple
Oh,
surgeries and stuff like that, and it's yeah, he's never going to walk again. So he has to wear the nappies, and
oh.
it's tricky, that one. Yeah,
We looked into at one point. We were getting our first dog about getting a dog that had three legs, or this last time we were looking at a dog that had the same thing as that, like sleeping or the fainting goat,
oh yeah,
or it was like narcolepsy, or it was something that was related to that, where they would just tip over, and so you had to be careful about what they were around and whatnot. And like
yeah,
I was very tempted to get it, but then I also knew that there would be a huge challenge to having a dog that had to go through those problems. But
yeah,
more power to you for continuing with a dog that requires that kind of work, that kind of challenge. Uh,
yeah.
the it
It's
does so the dog, is it an old dog or is it
he's 11,
11
so
for a pug?
oldish, I
Old.
guess. But this guy, I mean, he's gonna live till he's 50. I know he will. Just he's he's that kind of character.
We have a little pug Chihuahua mix here,
Mm.
a Chihuahua Dachshund mix, essentially
Oh
those.
wow. Okay.
And they have a lot of character. The small dogs. Chihuahua Dachshund Retriever. So
Okay.
I can't just say the one thing, otherwise I get yelled at in this family.
Yeah, I heard the yelling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He had a real opinion on that. But the small dog, like we were out at a event the other night with family, and man, our dog just laid into another dog and like just would not leave the dog alone.
Oh.
Uh, like cute, they're all cute, but if they come with that attitude,
Mm.
watch out. So,
Yeah.
does with your little pug? What's your pug's name?
Buñuelito.
I'm
It's
guessing.
well, no, sorry, that's like his little pet name. It's Buñuel. It's he's named after a famous director.
And did you name him or did your wife?
No, no, no. Yeah, no, my partner, she had him
Yeah.
before
Oh,
we got together. So
gotcha. Um, does the dog do well with your little one? Is it a boy or girl? Your kid?
a boy, yeah. He likes the dog and he wants to stroke him all the time, but the dog just was like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm too grumpy for this. I'm not having any of it, and just walks away.
It,
Um,
it's funny when we looked at getting a dog. There was all these like, does well with cats, does well with dogs, whatever these little statements that they would make for the advertisements for them. Um, and I was always like, what do you mean doesn't do well with kids? Like, kids are great, dogs great, and then you have a little like, especially a little one around a dog, and then all of a sudden it's just like the amount that you see them like try to pick up the dog, or
yeah.
pull on the tail or whatever. You're like, oh, I get it now. That's what the dog doesn't like. They don't like the constant abuse.
Yeah.
Um, and then your son, you said was 2. Is that right?
Yeah, coming up.
Is he? Do you think that he has artistic
He
ability?
likes to like draw, but then he just like always hands the crayon to myself or my partner and like demands that we draw a calgol, which is a snail in Catalan.
Okay.
I don't know why he's obsessed with snails. They learned a song in nursery, um, and he's kind of ever since then he's just kind of like been obsessed with them. But
Has he touched a snail in real life though?
I found a shell the other day in the park, and he he just looked at it and went and threw it away and just kicked it away as well.
That, I love the idea of snails, but I am like gelatinous creatures like that. I don't
Yeah,
touch, and so I feel like
yeah,
like conceptually a little kid could like a snail, but do they really like a snail? That's a question.
yeah. Well,
Can,
thankfully we don't kind of get to see them much here. It's too dry for them.
yeah. Um, and then I'm gonna ask this question. This is called Mark doesn't know his geography section of the show. Uh, Barcelona, or where you are, how close
Hmm.
is that to the ocean?
I'm like a 5 minute walk away right now.
Oh, so you got
Yeah.
a beautiful view from those locations?
No, no, I can't see it from my house. But yeah, it's kind of there's a train over. Sorry, a bridge over the train tracks,
Okay,
and yeah, you're right onto the beach, and it goes on and on for miles. It's beautiful. It's like
that's
I
lovely.
like I like living by the sea. It's just kind of there's something about it.
It probably like is it so close to the sea that you can smell the sea, or is it like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of yeah, and when the sea threat comes in, it's kind of like you're like in a horror movie type thing.
yeah? Okay, that's I was wondering. There's like where I teach, we're right on the ocean too, and like a few blocks from the ocean. And some days where I live is not close to that, and so I'll hop out of my car and I'll be like, school, and then I'll get hit with there's the tide, uh, or whatever.
Yeah.
it can be overwhelming if you're not ready for it of some sort. But I imagine the food is insanely good.
Yes, yeah. I've put on a lot of weight in the last few years.
Also, your awesome photo, you were just a twig. No, yeah, that idea of living. I imagine like same thing with like the um, boring pain in me going to someplace like Italy or Spain. Uh, I don't think I've experienced those flavors in my life enough that I would ingest too much in those situations. Now, uh, with your wife, what kind of you said that she does illustration, but is
Yeah.
she has she done like picture books? I forget what I feel like you said, and I'm drawing a blank on it. But
Yeah. So she used to work in Kidlit as well, but now she's doing the real stuff,
yeah,
editorial, and
real
yes,
stuff.
yeah, for the for the big guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she,
uh,
she's
the
read one.
same money for one illustration
Yeah,
as we get for a book, kind of thing.
yeah, I know. Hearing like I've done book covers and other things, and like the amount that you get for such a short project in some of those instances is like disheartening when you think about how much we get paid for a picture book.
Yeah.
But I also know with a picture book, like I get to draw dumb things the whole time. So,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
a level of like, yeah, I get that it's not that the pay structure is not the same, but I also know that like I don't know if I need it to be the same because I'm having so much fun being an idiot on a regular basis. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, so I asked earlier and I didn't get the follow up question in, but I know that dogs are fun things
Mm.
to draw. What are the awful things for you to draw? What are the
Ooh.
things like you get an assignment and you're just like, oh no, why did I take on this book that has this element in it or what have you?
Yeah.
What are the things you
Um,
read?
I think if someone give me a book now and said people, I would like, oh my god, like because I haven't drawn a person in ages now. I think. Yeah, it's just kind of like cute dinosaurs and animals, unicorns, and all the rest of it. So, I think, yeah, if someone came to me now with and said, "Oh, will you draw some people?" I'd be like, "Oh God, how do I do that again?"
Is it that I'm trying to think of like the question here I'm trying to get to, but is it that people are hard to draw or is it just that you're out of practice?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess I haven't done it for a while. I think it's kind of animals and whatnot are just kind of the more forgiving. You can kind of you can do whatever you want with it and you kind of make it up, and it's you can get away with it. And
Yeah.
with people, it's a little bit trickier. They've got to be a certain way, and kind of look right. They've got to have
The
two
thing
eyes and two legs and all the rest of it.
the way that I've said it to people in the past is that if I'm drawing animals and I draw the fur slightly wrong, most people aren't going to notice. Or if it's like slightly miscolored from what it naturally is,
Yeah,
or I make the leg bend a little bit wonky or something like that, most people aren't going to notice. If I do the same thing with a person, people are going to go, "That's not a person. You drew them wrong." And like, there's this weird like expectation that unless you're playing in a really really strange sort of aesthetic, um, there is this expectation of realism with people or close to it, whereas animals get
hmm
away with and be like, well, my bunny doesn't have to have big tall ears. He can have tiny little ears, and as long as I make the markers of it being a bunny, that's
yeah,
good.
exactly.
And so I too think that like not to say that animals are easier in some sense, but there is a difference in how you approach those two. Um,
Yeah.
hold on one second. I'm going to make a quick request to those upstairs to stop banging on things. I don't know if you could hear that, but
No, I could.
I sure could hear something there. Um, wait until your kid gets a drum set. That's he had a drumstick. I'm sure of it. The Now that you do have a little one, because you've been making books before you had a kid,
Yeah.
and obviously, like your perception. I've asked this to a lot of people because I always find it sort of an interesting topic. But you have this perception probably of what picture books were, how they worked, etc., from a from an adult's point of view, and then all of a sudden you have this kid and you're reading books to them and you're participating with kidlit in a different way. Did that throw you for a loop? Did it change the way that you think?
Mm, no, I don't think so. I kind of I don't know if I've had the luxury of kind of like the time to kind of to do that. But I do kind of see now, when I'm drawing a character, I can kind of see my son in that character,
Yeah.
like a certain kind of pose or something, you know. Like I think I drew a dinosaur. Like I did a character sketch, and yeah, I was kind of like, oh yeah, that's River. Just like it was like a little smirk or something, you know. It's so I guess like something like that is going to creep in, but I think that's kind of that can only help, right?
Yeah. Is your kid's name River?
Yes.
Oh, I love the name. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, a cute name for a little kid. Um, you just have one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Too old.
Yeah. And as long as you didn't name him like Canal or
Yeah, yeah. See.
yeah, yeah, Outlet, sea, sewer or anything. No, I like River's a cool name. He's destined to be like cool, basically, with that name. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
we'll cross our fingers now. If he turns out to be a real nerd, um, we'll we won't mention it on air. Uh, we're at a point with our son right now where like the jokes back and forth and teasing each other has it went from like everything's super cute and whatnot to now it's I can make those kind of jokes and hopefully it doesn't do the damage, but
Okay, okay.
we'll cross our fingers on that one.
You said he's 12, right?
Yeah. So there's lots of
Right.
like him walking up to me and punching me in the stomach when he walks by, and
Yeah,
classic kid dad relationship kind of situation.
yeah. Nice, nice.
Yeah. So look forward to that. Look forward to that.
Yeah, yeah.
Not expect- Um, is there are there things when making books? Are there things now that like uh, you look for? Well, I shouldn't say making books, but like in looking at books that are out there in the market, are there things that you look for that you're like, oh, this is what I want in a book now because of what you've read with your son, or the experience that you've had that
Um,
like the
hmm.
equivalent of are you looking for books with morals more now, or are you looking for books that I mean when I first started collecting picture books before I had a kid, it was like I need to get a book that's the most beautiful book in the world to me. And then eventually I realized, oh, like it's more than just the visuals. Like I actually need to read what's being.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, is there a different interpretation now that you have a young one on hand?
Um, yeah, I guess, yeah. Like, I think yeah, getting a book just because it's beautiful, you can't do that anymore because they can pick up the ugliest thing and it's you have to get it sort of thing.
You have to read the ugliest one every night for the rest.
Yeah, yeah. um, I always go for a book with a moral. If it's like in your face, I don't think that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
I think it's better if it's kind of like in there subtly and it kind of has a bit of humor and um, there's a kind of character arc and stuff. But yeah, as long as there's some humor, I think that for me, that's what I look for, and that's kind of uh, now if I'm kind of looking for if getting sent a text or something. if it's humorous and I kind of think, oh, I can do something with that, then that's kind of what I go for.
I just saw a comment come up.
Okay.
There's what are your favorite books, and I want to get to that one. But
Ooh.
there's a comment that looks like it must be someone that you know, named MCK Alice.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Okay, because they said, "Do you hide your fear of birds from River?" And that's like you read that somewhere online. That's a someone you know. That's someone.
yes, yeah. She's a good friend. An amazing illustrator as well.
Do you actually
Uh,
have birds?
yes, yeah. It's so. I lived in I said that I lived in Brighton for a year, and I was afraid of birds before this, but Brighton, it's right on the coast, and the seagulls there, the size of dinosaurs. It
Oh
is
yeah, yeah.
awful, and they just kind of they you can't eat outside because they just attack you. Yeah, my first week there, kind of one swooped in from behind me and stole my sandwich out of my hand.
Oh
Yeah, it was awful.
well,
But yeah, there's something about birds, the flappiness. I don't know what it is, and I don't know where it's come from. Um, but it's there.
okay. I I am I like birds, but I don't like them to land on me.
Ah, well, yeah.
That idea of like just something flying out of nowhere and then all of a sudden it's there freaks me out. But I will tell you, this story will probably make you happy. There was a time where I was walking to my school from one building to another, and we're on the ocean, of course. So there's seagulls and things of the sort. There were a bunch of them flying overhead, and just as I looked up, two seagulls flew into each other
Oh,
full
nice.
speed, and the thud. Like seagulls are big.
Yeah, yeah,
Like they're up in the sky, so you don't see it all that much. But when they're in front of you, I mean, they're what, half a meter, if not more, depending on sort of the age or the specific type of.
yeah, yeah.
But that when they hit each other, that deep like hollow thud
Thud. Yeah.
just lives in my brain for the end of time. And it was quite lovely because the seagulls are a pain in that area, but to hear that gigantic like slam between those bodies and to see them like fall but then have to pick themselves back up and keep flying
Oh, yeah.
was quite humorous at the time for me. To not just like out of fear of birds or anything of the sort, but just it was so funny to see that because they were dumb in that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Dumb birds, not just a smart bird that knows how to get its way of some sort. Um, do you? Okay, so I have another question. This is a weird tangential, but with my son having to spend some time in the doctor's office this morning trying to figure out if he broke his thumb. Which did I mention that already? I did, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You said, yeah, you're gonna have to, yeah.
yeah. So that idea of this is going to be a weird question. Thinking about fears, this popped into my head. But um, are you okay with thinking about hand damage? Like I was thinking, like when my son hurt his finger, I was like, man, if that was my hand,
Yeah.
if it was the right finger or the wrong finger, depending on how you look at it, you could be out of commission for some time.
Yeah.
And I this like embedded fear of like, what happens if I accidentally do damage to the wrong finger of some.
Yeah, yeah. I was just last week I was away for a few days. My dad came over and went to a city just down the road, and it's kind of like a really touristy place.
Okay.
So it's had all the kind of like arcades for kids and stuff, and it had one of those, those punch bags,
Yep. Yep.
and
Yep.
it tells you how hard you've hit. So yeah, me and my dad got on there, and I'm like, but just before doing, I'm like, oh my god, what if I break my wrist? I've got deadlines and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely kind of
In the back of your head. It,
yeah.
it's
Well, it
funny.
wasn't definitely in that moment anyway.
Like an athlete, like if their knee goes out or something of the sort, like that can end a career.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Like for us, there's probably less talk about it, but that idea of like, yeah, if you damage your hand, that could be a real serious complication that may not ever solve itself properly. That's really dark again. I don't know why I went there. Uh,
We need to start insuring our body parts like
yeah.
celebs do, no?
Do you ever think about how you can injure yourself? That's the question I just asked, basically. Do you think it would be fun to be in a car accident? That's like it's that same level of like not needed to be asked.
Yeah.
Uh, with uh, uh, what is my oh, that's my wife just pointed out who the MCK Alice is. It's Alice.
Alice, yeah.
Yeah, which I follow. I just don't I didn't recognize the
Mm.
handle right off the bat. Um, the
You should
with,
get her on here, actually.
what I should
You should,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, my wife, if she's listening upstairs, Lauren, take note. We're always sort of looking for people to throw into the mix and get on this show because it's been I don't even know how many years it's been now. We're in year like we're coming up on 4
Wow, okay.
of doing this, and it's been almost every week.
And do you not find that that's eaten into your time now?
Um,
Like, does it kind of, is it not made illustrating tricky because you're like, oh my God, I've got to do these videos?
not necessarily. I mean, the thing that it gives me is it's a time where I can get in studio and just play. So I never
Mm.
for projects in here, but I also think that um, like my schedule's so varied that and I don't always have work consistently like some other kidlit folks because of teaching. I don't I prioritize it, but I don't prioritize it in the same way. It's not the
Mm.
breadwinner of sorts. So I don't need to always have something on my plate. Um, but the thing that does eat up time, honestly, and this is going to sound really weird, is when I make the ads, researching who are the people's agents, like for tagging people and things of the sort,
Yeah.
or like the author trying to find out like do they have a Blue Sky account and having to do all that searching. That takes a long time to do. And so once a month, I have to go through and do all this crazy research, not on the artist, but on the peripheral folks
Mm.
coming to play. And so, like you mentioned your agent before, and I know I looked it up, but I've done this so much now that I don't remember exactly who your
Yeah,
agent.
the Bright agency.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, a question about Bright Agency for you then. Do you work with a specific agent, or do you work with a variety of folks that
It's
work?
over my time, it's kind of been a bit of both, but now I have like a dedicated agent that I speak to. She's called Nikki, and she's just like, she's amazing. Yeah, she's on it all the time. Like if you email her, she emails you back in like 30 seconds. It's like
What?
she's yeah, she's so good.
I need to tell my agent that. Uh, my agent though also has like a day job and other things that like she does. Like she works at a bookstore and helps run a bookstore, and so like
Ah, okay, okay.
it's she has other things going on in her life. But I mean, even I am not. I think I'm fast on email, but I'm not. I'm not that fast. Uh, and do you think that Bright Agency is one of those agencies where they have multiple avenues of making, i.e., they there's a publishing side, there's a licensing side, there's
Yeah.
et cetera down the line. Have you seen work outside of Kidlit, or is that something where like you're just solely focused on Kidlit in the moment?
Yeah, over the years, I've kind of done a bit of licensing as well, some greeting cards, that kind of thing. But yeah, most of it has been with the kidlit stuff.
Yeah. Do and how long have you been with, or well, how long have you been with Bright, and then also, how did that happen?
So I've been with them, I guess it's well since I started really. So it's yeah, like 11 to 12 years, whatever that is. And yeah, like I said before, the um, my friend Mark Chambers, he was already with Bright, and he was doing the hashtag thing on Twitter.
Okay. Yep.
And I was kind of, it was like I don't exactly remember what it was, like draw daily or something, and you got a topic. And so that day you draw that thing, and you post it up, and he told my agent George, you want to check this guy out, and they did, and offered me representation, and
Was
it's
it was it a no brainer right when they offered, or did you reach out to other agents at the time to
it
sort
was I kind of been researching some, but so these guys were all kind of on like top of my list.
yeah.
Um, so it's just great that they kind of came to me because at that time I was trying to get my portfolio sorted out and ready to send, and I didn't think it was ready. But so yeah, they coming to me was like it was just a stroke of luck, really.
Didn't think it was ready, but they did.
Yeah, so I went down. I thought, oh, I still need to meet them, like kind of, you've got to see if you click, kind of thing, and
Yeah.
see what these people are like. So I went down to London to meet them because at that time I was living in the north east of the UK in County Durham. So yeah, went down to meet them, and we got on well. Everyone was really nice. So yeah, it was kind of just okay. Let's try this out.
A no brainer kind of done quick and
Yeah,
dirty.
it was a done deal, and I haven't. It's been great the whole time. It's worked out really well for me. So
Do you
I'm happy.
before that? Did you have any sort of agents prior?
No, no, no. Yeah, I was just doing the bits of animation,
Yeah. So you yeah.
freelance animation. Um, so yeah, no, it's just kind of that was it. Just signed and never looked back really.
And then with the idea of like, there's all these people that say, I want an agent, which is
Mm,
a very hard thing to do in the market of kidlit because there's so many people that want an agent.
yeah.
But obviously, like, you're not on the deciding side. You're not in the like, this is their thought process or anything of the sort in that situation. But if you had to give advice to someone who was interested in getting an agent, are there things that you think are quintessential to a portfolio or to
Mm,
um, you know specifically a kidlit side, that you would go like, just do this. This is the thing that, like, it's. No, I'm guessing your agent wasn't like, here's the thing that brought us to you. Sometimes,
no, no.
right?
Then they went through my portfolio, and like I say, it wasn't ready. So they actually said, "Oh, it'd be good if you can do this, this, and this."
Yeah. So what?
And they said, "Look,
Yeah.
you've got to have kids in there. You've got to be able to draw kids." Um,
Now you don't want to draw people. You're like, no way.
yeah, yeah. um, and yeah, backgrounds as well. Like
Yeah.
it's a big thing. And I'm trying to think what else they said, but that's the two things I really remember. For me, it's kind of like I think you need to show that you can take a bit of text and do a spread. Like I think a publisher and an agent want to see that you can work that way. It can be sketches or it could be a finished piece, or but you could take like a fairy tale or something. It doesn't have to be like your text, and just illustrate it in your way and show how you can you do the composition with the text around it.
Yeah. Prove that you know how to work with text and turn it into visual that adds to, not necessarily just replicates
Yeah.
what's there of some sort. Um, is there, looking back at your portfolio, if you said that they thought it wasn't ready, looking back at it, you look at it and go like, oh, I see what they.
Oh God, yeah. I don't think I'd share anything from that now.
I had someone the other day say to me like, oh, you've been teaching for so long, and I had to stop them and be like, yeah, but you should have seen how I started. Like, the portfolio I had for teaching was, I don't know if I would have hired me, that's for sure. Uh, like Kidlit, I'm in that same boat where it's like, there's inklings of of something. But and maybe that's what it was with the kidlit when they hired or the teaching too. That they saw potential, but
Mm.
when I look at it, I did not see potential. Going back to it and seeing some of those pieces, it was I was digging through my studio and I found the old portfolio that had some of the stuff in it, and I was like, ugh, this is not pretty. Um, do you thinking about sort of where you are now in your career? Are there goals? Are there things that you're like, I want to get this done? Uh, to wait, MCK Alice. There we go. Says shout out to Mark Chambers. And
Yes, yeah. We're all friends.
yeah, I'm seeing like I look up and then all of a sudden there's this big like chat or people are talking about things I don't see. Um, but the idea of goals. You have these series, you have these things that you've worked on.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, you've accomplished a ton already. So like, what's left? What's the next big thing that you want to do? Uh,
Uh, I want. Well, I'm. The dream would be to have one of the series of books become like a TV show.
okay.
That would be very nice. There's kind of yeah. It's been. Some of the bits have been in the mix over the years, but it just takes so long. This kind
Yeah.
of thing.
But you
Um,
had conversations, but nothing's manifested.
there's yeah with one of where well I think it's I can say because it's been out there the dinosaur series got optioned,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
but it kind of yeah it didn't I don't think it was it didn't go anywhere. It wasn't the right direction, that kind of thing. So it didn't get the funding.
Gotcha.
Uh, but I guess it's not to say it never will. I think it's got legs, that one. So I think hopefully it will one day. So yeah, that would be very nice. Some merchandise, kind of all that kind of lovely things to have, like a cuddly toy in your hand. But then I can't. Well, but to bring it back to books is like I want to do my own picture books, um, like my own stories,
Yeah,
because I've done two, which is the This Is Gus and Gus, Merry Christmas, Gus. But that was quite a few years ago now.
yeah, and you
Um,
a
and
shift
then,
towards
yeah,
something new.
so yeah, I want to get back onto that, and I've got a contract with Ladybird, who I do the Nico books with.
Yep.
So they've contracted me for my own author illustrated picture books. It's just yeah, we're just trying to figure out that schedule again, and trying to kind of see how that fits in. But the 10 minutes to bed stuff keeps growing, and the Nico books keep going. I've just finished the artwork for the 12th one in that series, so it's yeah. Hopefully that just keeps. Well, I've got another 4 to do next year, and then hopefully that just keeps going. It'll
That's
be nice.
the sort of like just as you're finally getting time to work on something that it's something else pops up and throws you for a loop.
Yeah.
Uh, like I have some books I've been meaning to work on for ages and like ideas and things of the sort, but I've illustrated enough of other people's work now to a point where in like it's it's a little challenging to find like with teaching and other things. Like if I wasn't teaching, I'd probably have a lot more time for
Mm.
but because of that teaching, all of a sudden it's oh, I got to work on this other thing today, and then my own writing gets put on the back burner, and I don't want it to, but it does.
Yeah.
So that's just a matter of life again that just you have to deal with. Uh,
It's yeah. Well, I don't know about for you, but the writing side of stuff like isn't particularly like
Easy?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't come as natural as like drawing a
Oh
cute
no,
dog and stuff, you know. So
no, it's so weird to me, and I like absolutely agree with what you're saying. It's so weird though that like you ask me to draw a picture and I have no problem. I can do it without question, like just jump into it, etc. And you ask me to write, and it's like not necessarily fear, but I just don't know where to start half the time,
yeah,
or
yeah.
if
that the tricky ending. Like, how does this
Yeah.
end?
Well, one of the things that I've been trying to think about more so in my writing is, instead of the how does it end, is to start with find an ending and then how does it start,
Ah, okay, yeah.
which is an interesting sort of um, practice, but it's still like, if you're just not a writer on a regular basis, it's still just challenging to find the, like, the words that you want or whatever it may be. And so I end up spending a lot of time uh, trying to discover the voice for a piece,
Yeah,
hoping
it's
and praying that it will work out in the end. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a challenge. Did you take any writing when you were in school or anything of the sort?
no. I
Yeah.
was terrible at all that kind of stuff.
I feel like that's
Um,
that's the big kicker, is like, if you're not a writer by trade, like, you have to do a serious amount of studying.
yeah,
Uh,
and I think I'm a bit dyslexic as well.
mm.
I kind of like when I'm reading, it gets a little bit jumbled up, and especially kind of the long form stuff. Um, yeah, it's
Do you?
when I'm writing, it's kind of like sometimes I do the letter, which which will come after the letter meant to be writing that at that moment. It's
That's I do that. I type faster, or no, wait. What is it I do? Oh, I think faster than I type. Uh,
okay.
so like when I'm working, I may have an idea for a sentence, and I start to write it out, and I'm already like 10 words ahead in my brain, and then all of a sudden the words start to jumble up because of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's dyslexia. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm not diagnosed of some sort, but that happens all the time for me, where like the brain and my fingers don't match up and cause
Mm.
jumble of the word the amount of times that I have spelled th te.
Yeah. For me as well. That's like the one of the biggest things.
Yeah, and there's other words that have that same thing, where it's just like I can't do it in a normal single pass of any sort, and I have to like slow down and consciously think about what letters or what I need to write, or
Mm.
I need to hit edit afterwards. I have to go back and look for that little red squiggle that's underneath.
Yeah.
You did this wrong. That is my dear friend in a lot of situations. Um, when writing for picture books, do you have a process that you go through, or books just in general? Do you have a process that you go through, in the sense of, like, you have an art practice, and you probably have a set way that you work for that. Do you have a set way that you work when you're dealing with text?
I like to just um like have a rough idea, and
Yeah.
then now I just like use a Google Doc and just put like all the rubbish in there. Um and then I'll just take some post-it notes or something, and kind of just like just sketch and just try and sketch those moments within the book and see if it fits or not, and then kind of that I think that kind of drives the story.
So,
Um,
but you write versus draw first in those situations.
well, I think it's kind of I think I draw first. So like say like this character here, I've kind of got an idea for him, and he's a vegetarian vampire.
Okay.
Um, So if I'm sketching a character, and then I think, oh, that's got something, or you kind of come up with a title, and then you start. So yeah, you sketch first, and then kind of try and get type all your ideas out, whether it's crap or what. Just
Yeah.
get it out, and then I kind of start going and thinking, okay, that situation sound like I typed out sounds quite good. And then I've got like little. I don't keep sketchbooks, but this is like one of my ideas for a book, and it's just kind of like random, really crappy, just kind of quick ideas.
Yeah. Don't
Um,
Don't give it away. Don't give it away.
No, no, but um, yeah. So that's kind of how I'm doing it right now. But it's still tricky. The Nico stuff is totally different altogether. It's because it has all the mechanisms in it. You have
Which
to
is
kind
totally,
of you have to work
yeah.
with that, and it's like all about that moment of things going wrong. So you need to have that, and that needs to be in the illustration, but like it has to work with the mech, and it's just it's the tricky little things them board books.
I see. Alice also said, uh, let's see, a couple of says, would you do another Gus book?
Yes, yeah. I had the text. Well, not fully polished, but it was there. It was going to be Gus Goes Camping, but the publisher didn't want it, so it never happened.
Yeah. Now it's Gus Stays Home for the Weekend. That's
Yeah, Gus has gone to doggy heaven, gone to that farm.
Gus. Gus is disappointed. That's
Yeah,
the like.
he's always disappointed. That's the problem with
Yeah. This is what I think it actually could be now. Is Gus doesn't get the next book. Um,
it. Oh, wow, okay, yeah.
uh, Ben Mantle _ illustration says, Chris, draw a ghost, please. When
A
you're doing
ghost.
it, you don't have to draw a ghost. We're not. We're not. We're not. What do I want to say? Like clowns, where we draw on demand.
No,
But
Ben's probably doing a book about ghosts, and he just wants me to do his work for him.
okay, there you go. Just like I just had this great idea for a book about a bunny that's bad. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
the I've shared ideas on here for like books that I've thought about in the past and things. Some of them are horrible ideas that should never be printed, and some of them are things that like I just will never get around to.
Mm,
I'm always hesitant or a little worried about like when and how I can share that information.
yeah, yeah,
Of sort of like, can I? So like that's why I don't work on books or book projects on here. Is just because like the amount that I would be doing that would be the entirety of the book. It
yeah.
would be too much. But when you're thinking about like promotion or you're thinking about the making that you do, is there some sense of like that like, oh, this is something I can share, this is something that I shouldn't share, those kind of elements?
Yeah, it's kind of When I grabbed that book, I was thinking, oh, maybe I shouldn't, but I don't know. It's kind of
No one
I'm
takes credit.
I'm happy to kind of to share the pro. I like to share the process of things and stuff like that. Um, it's it is what it is. If someone is going to steal it, they're going to steal it. But it's like
No one's going to do it justice though. Like no matter what, if someone were to draw one of your books, like even try to replicate one of your books, it would not be the same. There's
yeah,
no that it would be the same. It would miss something. It would be a different book. It may actually be a decent book, but it would not be the same. There was someone I forget when I was teaching early on that was talking about Charles Schultz who did Peanuts, Snoopy,
hmm
Brown and whatnot, and that everybody could try to draw Snoopy and look at Charles's sketches and all that kind of stuff, and no matter what, it's never going to be a Charles Schultz Snoopy.
yeah.
And so it's the same thing with like, I don't know. Do you have an issue of when you start a book that the character changes throughout the book? Like
I
first,
yeah,
well,
yeah. It has to be on model for me. Like I have kind of like that one like proper sketch of the character,
yeah,
and if it kind of feels too off model, I'll go in and kind of put that good sketch over the top and see how off it is, I'll do my liquefy thing, and trying to get as close as possible because I used to do the sketch like my sketches like really tight, but now I'm trying to get like just do them really loose, so it's like it doesn't really matter if they're on model for the sketch, like to show the
yeah.
publisher, as long as the idea and the gestures are there and everything.
As long as the final gets it, then you're good.
Yes, yeah.
Do you have any sketches around? Out of curiosity, the only reason why I ask is like I'm always trying to battle that idea of like what I want to do and what needs to be, what's considered a final sketch and what's not, and quality wise. Uh,
Okay.
and it's always the level that some person says this is a sketch can vary so differently.
Mm. No, I do like really crappy thumbnails. So I'll print the text out. I'll do really crappy thumbnails around that. I was just wondering if I've got anything like that
It's okay.
here.
I just, if you had something around, it'd be interesting to see.
Like, well, something like tiny and crap like this, for the
Yeah.
layouts. Just ideas, and then I take a photo of that on my phone and put it straight to Photoshop, and I just kind of cut and paste and fiddle around with it there.
So
I
that
find that's like the best way for me.
yeah,
Otherwise,
they are.
I'll be noodling forever. I can't do it all by hand, like straight.
So no detail essentially at that point. It really is truly a thumbnail.
Yeah, yeah, like so rough, and sometimes it just like doesn't even resemble the thumbnail in the end.
Do they ever come back to you and go like, "We don't know what this is"?
Yes. Can you clear that up, or can you just make sure this looks like this at the end?
Yeah, yeah. That's like I'm working on a project for Highlights right now. Highlights like the kids magazine that's in the States. I don't. Do you guys get Highlights over there?
Yes, I know of it, but
Okay.
I don't think it in Spain. But
Um, and there's this level of like, how much do I put in without like defining it to a point where they go, this is exactly what we want. But the challenge is like most of these I like to play. So it's like the sketches that I'm doing now are relatively loose. They're not perfect of any sort.
mm,
Um, and then the challenge with something like that is the assignment that I have also has the requirement of hiding, um, what do I want to say? Hiding hearts in the piece. So it's like hide 10 hearts in this image.
oh,
So I have to be accurate with that. And so like I'm trying to be loose, but I know that they're going to go like, well, I only see 5 hearts and we need 10.
for God's sake.
Yeah. Exactly. So like the hardest part, the image is not hard to do. It's the stupid hearts trying to find a spot for those. Um, and so I'm trying to find that level of balance for sending this one to them where I don't get a lot of pushback in the end. Uh,
Mm,
you need to change this. And part of the challenge, and I've been having to address this more recently, is just because I work in collage, stuff isn't going to be like I can't go and like push a pixel and go like that's the way the sketch lined up and now it's perfect. I have to
yeah,
have way for the collage aspect. And I don't know everybody knows that it's collage. There's quite a few folks that have asked me like, well, what are you using for it? And it's like, no, it's straight up paper.
yeah.
So like that ability to correct and or to adjust on the fly is a challenge. And so I'm trying to figure out how to address it in this assignment. But um,
But like, so yeah, so you've done everything by paper, and then you I guess you scan it in, and you do any tweaks you want to do. But then say you send it over, and then they come back and they're like they have loads of notes.
not necessarily.
How how
No.
would you like
Yeah.
how
How
would
do
you do that though? Like,
I?
because
So
sometimes I've had notes. It's like, oh, can you just totally change this whole like composition and page and like that kind of thing?
if they come
It's
back,
like in digital, it's fine. So you can okay. Well, it's not
yeah,
fine, but it's like you can do it.
if it's a color note or something like that, that's easy enough because you can just hop in Photoshop and change a color.
Yeah.
Uh, but if it's a big structural thing, then yeah, sometimes I have to go and like redo, or I'm pretty good at adjusting in Procreate or Photoshop of some sort of getting it manageable.
Mm.
And most of the time when they're asking for a correction, it's not a like so big that like if it's like moving a character up, and then you just do some photo blending and whatnot, and you're done.
Yeah.
Where it becomes a challenge is if like it's a major compositional, they need to add something in that wasn't in there before. That can be a bit of a challenge. But I've the most that I've really seen is like some color or minor things. And sometimes I will go and actually like paint or make, like, let's say they came back with the piece I'm working on here, and they're like, we don't like that arm. I might just redo an arm to match and then Photoshop it in.
Okay.
So, it's like piecemeal. It's sort of puzzle pieces that I'm sort of adding back into the equation.
Yeah.
But there was an assignment I did early on that I got a note saying that they didn't like the color palette overall, the entirety of the thing.
Oh, wow.
This is real early on when I was starting out my illustration career, essentially, and it was easier to actually just go back and redo it at that point. And luckily, it was a
Where's it go?
job, and I have the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't run into that battle as much anymore. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
What the harder part is when they come back and they go, "We want a layered thing."
Yeah. No way.
Cut out. Yeah, I've done it. I've gone and cut out
Oh my God.
or I build it in a way that allows for that flexibility. But it's the layered thing is probably the hardest element that I've had to deal with for the most part.
I mean, you should just say no, bugger off, because it's all real.
Yeah. Well, I have, again, that's that same thing where like people come to me and they'll go like, well, can you send us the layered files? And I'm like, it's not Photoshop. It's not a JPEG. Like, this thing's the actual thing, and I can redo it. But also, if they've agreed to it in the sketch, or they, like this level of like, how much do I actually have to redo based on what did they give me clearance for? Is always the sort of debate.
Mm.
Well, if you gave me clearance and I did it and you don't like it, well, that's sort of on you at this point.
Yeah. If you want me to change it, you've got to pay.
Yep. And it's hard to say that, especially early on in a career.
Yeah.
Illustrator. Like, I would have in the beginning, I would just be like, yeah, I'll go do it. Now I'm like, no, what's in it for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Prove that this is worth my time. And if you don't like it and it's your choice, like, deal with it. I mean, I've had a couple of projects. I don't know if you've ever had where they've come back and said they wanted a whole new image. Like, there was a book I worked on where they said they wanted to change the cover completely after they had already approved the entire book.
Mm-hmm.
All the work.
I've had the whole book wanted to be changed.
Yeah. And so
They went back and changed the book was finished, like full artwork, everything. And they changed the text, and they came to me and they were like, "Oh, it's okay though, because you can just kind of like mess around and use what you've got already." And then I read the
oh,
text, and it was just like, no,
yeah.
this doesn't work at all. So I said, well, no, that's not going to happen. And I also, like, you've just come to me now with these changes, and like I was the one chasing you, seeing if you had any feedback.
Yeah.
And
Early.
then when I said I can't do any changes on it, like till this certain time, then they were like, they got all a bit, no, not angry, but like a bit funny with me, you know?
Ugh. That's,
Yes.
I will say, the one thing that I wish I could change in this industry is the speed at which notes come back.
Yeah.
And it's not that I need to be like, I need those notes back tomorrow because I need to work on it, but it is a little frustrating when you're like, you have to check in, or I have a deadline, but then I don't know what their deadline is for returning notes to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've
And
had
that's when your schedule kind of,
stalls for a minute. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And
Um,
it can knock on to the next thing, sort of thing.
yeah. I've had contracts that I've seen where they've put in specifically, this is, but I would venture to say that that's rare. And not only that, but I don't know that everybody sticks to that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like they might say that they're going to give them back to me by this time, but then they're like, "Oh, sorry, we got delayed." And it's like, okay, but I've been sitting around waiting for this, and it affects the rest of my schedule.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not all publishers. I should state that. I'm not an angry.
No, no, it's yeah, it doesn't kind of happen all the time, but yeah.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna finish this guy soon. I think I got just a little. So
Yeah, I was just looking at the time. It's 11, so I
yeah, I was
might.
gonna say yeah, there. Like I don't know why. Like, what are
my
they?
my drawings are starting to get really bad now, so I think it's probably a time to go.
They hang up. Well, let me see if I can get this down real quick, and then we can have a proper send off.
Okay.
I will say right off the bat, I have had a lovely time chatting with you and getting to know you. I mean, I don't know if everybody knows this, but when I do these, like, oftentimes it really is sort of a cold call to
Well,
people.
yeah, for
Hey,
sure. I was kind of like I said, I was a bit nervous about it, but it's kind of once we
yeah, yeah. You
start chatting, it's good.
remember, like in a couple hours ago when you said it was going to be hard to talk and draw. Look at
Yeah,
you now.
yeah, but just look at the drawings I did. It's like
I
they're
haven't
not
looked
good.
up the whole time. I don't know what you've drawn, but look at you now.
Yeah, yeah. Do not rewind this.
But I don't know everybody that comes on, but I feel like at the end, I don't know everybody in the sense of like best friends or anything of the sort, but there is a level of like um, awareness and like I get to know more about a person who I wouldn't normally run into on the street around.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
if
not
you're,
just the Instagram
yeah,
profile and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. Now, if you're ever in New Hampshire, if you ever
all
come
the time, all the time.
yeah, you give me a buzz. Um, I one of the things that I've been joking, and I really think I don't know how much it would cost me at this point, but I would love to go to the Bologna Book
Oh
Festival.
yes, yeah. Do it, do it.
The amount of people I've had on from Europe who have said that they like to go to that, and I've jokingly said, and not actually jokingly, but I think in reality, I've said like, oh well, I owe you a beer, and if I go, I'll treat you to
It's
a beer one night.
it's such a beautiful place.
Yeah,
I was there this year with Ben and Alice actually, and Benji Davis. We all shared an apartment. And it's just so nice to kind of see friends and catch up and have beers and
I would
be with
just
your publishers and all that kind of stuff. You know, it's
I'd end up buying the entire bar around with the amount of people I've had on,
yeah,
or whatever drink they want. There'll be half pints. And
yeah.
I'm not,
Aperol's all around.
yeah, I'm not rich, people. But if I ever make it over there, I will treat you to I'll treat you to tapas. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, something of the
I'll
sort.
I I'll get you to take me to the a really nice pasta place that I know, and it's
Oh,
amazing.
in Bologna. I was thinking
Yeah.
in New Hampshire.
No,
Like,
in New
oh,
Hampshire, no.
okay, so I will just clean up real quick here a bit, and I will do the rest of the cleanup later. But let me get this up here, and then I'll do a lovely little send off for you and get you asleep for the night, because I'm sure that you are probably tired.
Yeah, I'll go home and get some grub.
So here, let me
Um,
do a little switcheroo on the camera and get back to my ugly mug here.
Yeah, let me do that too.
I
There we
didn't
go.
see you end up drawing a ghost.
Oh yes, I did a ghost. I don't know where it's gone now. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Oh yeah. Okay, I did see it. Yeah, you're right. I did see it. I didn't see it up close, so I couldn't really make out 100%. But this
You should get Ben on here as well. Actually, he's an amazing illustrator as well.
I will. The more the merrier. Like we're always looking for people, and the amount of people that we've harassed at this point, going like, "Hey, can you be on?" like 3 times, and they're always like, "I'm busy right now. Check back in whatever date." Like,
Yeah,
uh, there's so many people that are out there in this industry that are worth sharing. So I will reach out. But this has been lovely. I have thoroughly enjoyed the time, and as I said, we are huge fans of yours, and so like
thank
it's an
you.
honor to have someone of your caliber say yes.
Right back at you. It's going to be nice to watch this back, and this. Well, I'll mute it so I
Yeah,
don't hear me, but I'll watch you
yeah.
work 'cause I
Mute
haven't
it,
had a chance.
cover up a half of it as you.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
when I do this, one of the things at the end. So I'll post this to YouTube, but I always take a little clip of the conversation, um, and make a little like on YouTube. There's a little
Like a
like
little intro.
yeah, a little cold open essentially before the title card, and I have to search. And half the time, I talk so much that I'm like, let me hear the guest speak, and I'm searching. Always me talking. It's always me talking, and
I feel like I feel like I've talked a
yeah.
lot, so I apologize.
No, there's plenty of clips here, but again, this has been lovely. If you end up posting any of the stuff, uh, hashtag me or not hashtag tag me. There we go.
Tag, yeah,
I can see it, but otherwise, this has
of
been
course.
a joy.
Yeah,
So,
a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
all right, go have a lovely evening. Get some sleep.
Yeah, have a good day.
All right, you too.
Okay, take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.
Okay, folks, I'm just going to do a little minor touch up on what I have here, and then I'll be done for the night. But again, that was Chris Chatterton, lovely, lovely illustrator. If you have not seen or own any of his work, go out and get this stuff. What's wrong with you all? Sandra Wrestler saying Chris is a fabulous illustrator and all-around lovely guy, as proven by the lovely time I had tonight. So let me shift back to what I was working on. Again, there's my sketch. You can see it right there. And then the final sort of version of what I'm doing here. I just saw that there may be a little touch up here or there that I want to look at real quick. I was just drawing in like a few little grass blades. What's funny is if you go back and watch this, what I started with, I had green and I had like, I don't even know if I have those scraps anymore. But I had a green like this at one point that was starting to go down on this piece that had, oh, here it is. This color was in this piece at one point. And maybe it could go back in a little bit because of that yellow, but it's too late now. It could have worked to have that green in there because I didn't have the yellow at the time. It could have worked, but it's at this state now. The grass is blue. It doesn't matter. It's my soccer ref. And so I'm just putting in some little touches of color into this that that need to be in there. So some of these soccer, I don't even know what you call these. I was gonna say soccer patches, but that's not right. And I know that's not how a soccer ball looks. Soccer balls are different than that, but that's good enough for me at this point. Oh, I forgot to put in laces on this shoe. How about that?
Daniela Sosa in 2 weeks.
Oh yes, Daniela Sosa is going to be on in 2 weeks. Next week, I am not on. I have a conflict. We were going to have on Mark Majewski. We will reschedule Mark Majewski for a different time. So if that was something you were aiming for, just know that will come about later. But next week we will have on Daniela Sosa. I'm going to give this guy some little freckles on his cheeks here. I don't know why this is very cartoony compared to some of the stuff that I do. Looking at it here. And so I'll put some little freckles here. I got to run off to a open house at my son's school. Go meet his teachers for the year. Even though we've already met one of them. But we got to go do that. If anybody wants to go for me, they're allowed. Oh, the other thing I was going to do is I was going to add some little, I don't know if this white will show up. Oh yeah, it will. Some little whistle toots coming out there. And then one other little touch I was going to do on these is a little hint of the shin pads underneath. That's how soccer players work. One other little touch I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of this white, just run it right along this. He's got a tiny little sock. That's there. Make sure I get it all the way to the edge, though. I didn't quite get all the way to the edge. There we go. Okay. So this is for Peachtober. Yes, this is for Peachtober, Lauren. This is my whistle piece. And so I'll leave it at that for the night. I hope everybody had a lovely time. Again, next week, Daniela Sosa, or Danny Sosa, depending on where you're looking on their info. But the ad is on my site. Let me do a little quick close-up of this so we can get a better sense of what it looks like. There we go. I wish I could get it to, because the board, I need to buy a little bit stiffer illustration board for the next round, but you get a sense of where it goes. So that's my little soccer ref or football ref, depending on what country you are from. Just a fun little character study. I just want to draw someone with big cheeks. That was actually what it was. That's what all this stems from, is I just want to draw someone with big cheeks. So there you go. He's throwing a yellow card. I don't even know what a yellow card is. I just know it's a thing in soccer. And so I know they hold up a card. And so that's what he's doing. I know so little about soccer. Besides, it's a very tough sport to play because you have to run a lot. I don't know why I'm saying all that. Y'all have a lovely evening. I will see you not next week, the week after. Otherwise, y'all have a good one. Bye. Love you all.